Hello, I'm Professor Lieu. Welcome to our live stream. I am going to be doing a live drawing session today. We are focusing specifically on the anatomy of the human figure. And today, I thought since we did the front torso last time, we would take a really close look at the back of the torso and really dig into some of those bony landmarks. If you would like to grow as an artist and you can't afford an art class, we've got everything you need here at Art Prof, critiques and tutorials. If you have not heard, we are running a spring raffle right now, and actually tomorrow is the last day to get in on the spring raffle. I really recommend you guys go to artprof.org, just go to the front page. All of the information is on there. We have tons of cool prizes that you guys can win. If you pledge monthly, $5 or more on Patreon, you can get mystery art supplies. For $1, you could get a sticker. You can also get a copy of my book. And the coolest thing, guys, is if you donate, one-time donation, $150, you can get original artwork that is actually featured in our tutorials, which is super cool. So please think about supporting Art Prof because we need you guys to pull this off. We need the backup because we've really grown a lot over the past few months, which is fabulous, but we have outgrown our staff. We need administrative backup, and to do that, we need the budget. So if you guys want us to stay alive, you want us to keep doing this stuff, please support us. And I will also say that if you guys are able to do that, we hit our goal, I can do more of these live drawing streams because then I don't have to spend all my time making spreadsheets. Okay, let's get back into what we're talking about today, which is the back torso. And I recommend that you watch my lectures in advance because this live drawing session is going to make more sense if you guys have an idea of the structure of the human figure. And specifically, since we're talking about the back of the torso today, this is the video that focuses on the back torso. So if you guys need a little bit more backup, it's all in there. By the way, we do have mature content today. We're going to have images of newts, so please be warned about that. And by the way, you guys, so many of you guys have been doing this. You've been drawing along with me. So those of you guys who have your pencils and your paper, whip them out, let's draw together, and then tag us on Instagram and use hashtag ArtProfShare because I love it when you guys draw along with me. It's just the coolest thing. So I hope some of you guys will consider doing that. Okay, so let's dig into the drawing stuff. And so the supplies that I'm going to be using today, I'm going to be using charcoal paper and also Caran d'Ache crayons. I really like the charcoal paper because it's a little bit textured, and also it's just nice to work with paper that's more durable, more long-term, because newsprint is great, but if you want to actually keep your drawings, newsprint is not archival, and so if you want something that actually is going to last long-term, it would be a lot easier. Fumi wants to know, are we going to see Danny DeVito today? You guys got to do the research and send me the images on Discord. If you guys do that, you save me the research time because I don't have staff to pay to do that for me. You're going to get that Danny DeVito stream. So whoever wants to get on Google Images, get those images. I'll do that stream. Okay? All right. So let's get our timer going. And I was thinking for the first pose, I just need to warm up a little bit because I haven't really been drawing very much today. So we're going to start with Herb Ritts. This is a gorgeous photograph of the Hollywood actor. I can't pronounce it. It's like Jimon Honsu. I can't pronounce anybody's name, but he is an amazing figure. And so we're going to start with him. Just a quick warm up, just to sharpen my eye. And I just would preface this by saying, whenever I sit down and I start drawing, my assumption is nothing good is going to happen in the first 20 minutes. This is pure warm up. And I would say if you guys are drawing with me, you should be thinking the exact same thing. Now, also today, I'm going to be drawing fragments. Normally, I draw the full figure because I think that's important to get proportions. But I think today, I'm going to really dig into the smaller forms. And so I think just drawing the back torso is going to be a lot better. Okay, so we're going to start with Crayon. So let me set my timer. And the other thing I will do, I will draw for a little while, and then I'll stop and I'll take comments and questions. So if you guys have observations, things you notice, let me know in the chat, because I love hearing what you guys are learning from these drawing sessions. Okay, let's get started. I want to sharpen my eye. Okay, let me just make sure scale-wise I'm doing something reasonable. Okay, very tilted center line right away. I'm noticing that, even the scapula, but I shouldn't dig into that because I need to get the relationship of the major masses. You guys getting this terminology? I like how we're all turning into major anatomy nerds. Okay, and then here is the pelvis, which is also tilted this way, and then you can see the center line is tilting that way, and then it goes this way. Okay, so I have my major masses in there, and you know what, that's too big. I already made it too big. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna move the head down, and I'm gonna make the ribcage a little bit smaller. Sizing's pretty important. If your sizing is funky, it's not gonna work out so well. So I just wanna indicate a little bit of the arms. God, this guy has crazy deltoids. That's this muscle here. It's this shoulder muscle. And I do want to slightly hint at the hands. But you know what? I'm slowing down. I got to pick it up a little bit. I can feel how tight I am. And it's going to make me sad if I don't keep moving. So let's rev it up a little. Sometimes I feel like I need to do jumping jacks before I get started. It's a very physical experience when you draw. You guys ever feel that way? Like you're really like in PE class practically after you draw. It can be very dramatic in that way. Okay, let's put in the central line again. And it's a little bit tricky because I'm just drawing a fragment. I don't see the rest of the body. So the connections are not that visible. That's one of the reasons I don't really like drawing pieces of figures, is that it's really hard to see how everything connects. Like if you're missing the leg, it makes it a lot harder to put in the thighs, etc. And this hand is very foreshortened. So you know what I'm going to focus on is just the angle of the thumb. And I'm not really going to draw the fingers, but I'm going to indicate where the knuckles are. Because at the very least, if I get that, and even at this early stage, I know I'm only doing a 5-minute pose, but I am already thinking about the elbows. And I am thinking about the major shapes. I mean, he's got crazy biceps. These are like really hyper pumped up. Okay, now I'm looking at his shoulders are definitely not broad enough. I need to really, yeah, the arm, I think I underestimated this. A lot of this, you guys, it's like constant tweaking. Like you fix one thing, you got to fix everything else. And now I think this got too small. So let's move down. Actually, I think let's put the ribcage down here. Okay, so if we put the ribcage here, okay, that's the ribcage. This is the muscle. We have not talked about this yet, but it's called the external oblique right here. And that, if you don't know what it is, it's basically love handles. That's what everybody calls them. And yeah, so you can see even within such a short pose, you still need to get in those changes because those changes really matter. Okay, now even here at this early stage, I'm searching for the scapula. His are pretty visible right here. I mean, the lighting is not making it super easy. He looks like they like glossed him up for this photo. I highly suspect this is not what his skin actually looks like. It seems exceptionally glossy. Or maybe it could just be the lighting that they put on him or something like that. I know a lot of the photographers have little tricks like that. Okay, now I really want to distinguish, this is a muscle called the trapezius, and I know we have not gone over muscles yet, but if anything, this will just give you guys a little preview of what's going to happen when I start out my lectures again, because I will do that, but we're just taking a little break to do some drawing because I think some of that lecture stuff, it gets dry really fast. And although I think I'm a little bit better than some of the more super technically oriented people are, I do think you need to see the application. You have to be able to see where people are leading to. Otherwise, it doesn't feel like you're really applying yourself very well. Okay, I still feel like, I think I think the external oblique, I think it's actually down here. I think I made it too high. Okay, that's the external oblique. And then then the backside comes all the way down like this. Now, if you guys look at this and you see where I started, I put the rib cage all the way up here. That was my first pass with the pelvis, and now it's all the way down here. So that's a lot of changes that your drawing has to go through. Okay, so that's a 5-minute pose. Let's start another one because I'm still not warmed up at all. So let me go to the next slide. Now, this is a photographer who we have not looked at before. This is Edward Weston, and he's very well known in art history. So let's take a look at him. And, I might have to turn my drawing board this way. I think you guys will be able to see things a little bit better. So let me try that because I know that the sizing is a little bit awkward. Okay, so let's start with this. And again, this is a quick pose, so I'm not going to try to get that deep into the details, but I do want to find the angle of the rib cage. The pelvis is very dramatic in this pose. And then definitely the foreshortening in the thighs. I guess I should have another scene in OBS when I'm doing these reclining figures. That'll be noted for future streams. At the very least, you guys will see the majority of this. Okay, and this female figure, she is like a really, look at her scapula. It's like sticking out so bad. Really, really dramatic. This is a very dramatic pose. I don't know, it looks almost like desperate. I mean, even though I know that it's somebody who's posing, there's a real emotional quality. And by the way, you guys, I hope you're learning something about photography as well. I know a lot of people like having those sites that have like stock model images. I'm not a fan because they're really tacky. I just don't like the photos. And if I feel like I'm drawing from something like that, it's not fun for me. So I think this is a lot better. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so you guys can see the figure a little bit more. I'm going to move this that way. Okay, let's find the center line. I was a little late with that. Center line is like here. And then let's say the crease of the backside this is so much bigger. Like this big form here, you got to exaggerate it because I know that it's close to me. And so I don't want to underestimate how large it feels. I'm probably making it a little bit too large, but that's okay. Don't leave out the head, which I was sort of doing. You got to remind yourself about this stuff. There's so many things that I know I'm supposed to do. Like I know I should move on. I know I should keep my crown light. This is not news to me. And I think for a lot of you guys, it's probably similar that it's like you're really aware of the things you need to do, but you don't always remember. It's one thing to be aware. It's another thing to actually be able to implement that. And so we're always reminding ourselves, especially our prof, like before I start a stream with like Jordan or Lauren, we actually have this like list of reminders. Like, yep, try not to say every 3 seconds. Don't go off on a big monologue. Oh, I am the biggest guilty one as far as like monologuing goes. I'm working on it. I'm really trying hard. It's a lot of work. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I'm tilting that a little bit too much. All right, I need to get, there's bone in here. So I'm trying to make this part feel a little bit bonier. And then there's this like really weird foreshortening on the leg. And you want to separate, okay, so here's one form, which is like the crease of the backside. And then here, look at this. Oh, you guys, PSIS. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Everybody see that? PSIS, yay. It's so exciting when you see that. I know, it's sort of like when you go abroad and you see something that you know that you never thought you would see. It's sort of like when you study things in art history and then you actually see them in real life. And it's like, oh my God, it's Massachu's Trinity. It's like the coolest thing. Sort of like that when you find those little landmarks that help you discover things. It's like, wow, it really does work. Oh my God, it's really startling how well some of these things work. Okay, I flaked out on the foot, which I should not have, because the foot is a pretty important foot in this pose. I'm not going to draw the toes, but I do want to indicate the grouping of the toes. And you know what? There's this like sand around her. I'm going to indicate that slightly. I guess I'm out of space for the other foot. And I'm going to go all the way over here so that way you guys can see the hand. And actually, I left out the hand. That was not good either. Definitely get in there. You know, the hand is so small here. You can barely see it. But you know what, guys? It makes a difference to do that. Don't leave it out. I mean, I'm always bothering people in my classes where they just are like, I didn't have time. I'm like, you do have time, okay? You should have everything down in your drawing in the first 30 seconds, I think. You can't take 5 minutes to get the hand in there. I mean, honestly, it's like, okay, here's the knuckle. And really, it's like holding a place. Okay, I really want to emphasize this. And oh my God, 7 cervical vertebrae. There it is. Oh my God, it's so good in this photograph. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, 7 cervical vertebrae. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to bend the center line a little bit more dramatically. Okay, guys, those are my first 2 warm-up poses. So let me go and change my scene so I can look at some questions. All right, let's get my drawing board down and I'll take a closer look and see what you guys are saying. All right, guys, what have we got? Buzzy Miller is telling us Art Prof is amazing. We do not deserve you. Well, you guys support us because, you know, the main issue right now is staffing. I don't have the budget to hire an administrative staff, and I need to because the administrative stuff is really overwhelming right now. Before we had a broader reach, it really was fine because we just didn't have as much that needed to be done. But now we have things that must be done that we cannot not do. But I'm going to go crazy if it stays like this forever. And so if you guys want Art Prof long term, more than say another month, you should support us in the spring raffle. And everything really matters, you guys. Tammy saying, love watching you draw. Find it relaxes me. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Leo says, I wish I had that kind of energy when I'm drawing. Well, I cheated a little bit, Leo. I took a nap this afternoon. That said, I also spent 2 hours at the periodontist this morning, so I think I deserve it. I think I deserve that indulgence. But yeah, for lack of a better reasoning, I'm just like really revved up now because I took that nap. It makes a really big difference. Juju says, do you think artists need to know proper anatomy to be able to do more abstract artwork? Not necessarily. I mean, I would say, you guys, if you genuinely don't want to learn anatomy, then don't. It's not a requirement. And the thing is, learning anatomy, it's so much work to learn all the terminology and practice. And if it's something you're not into, then don't do it. I think that's fine. I think there is sometimes a school of thought that says, okay, to be an artist, you have to learn all the fundamentals and you need to learn about lighting and shadow and all those things. And I'm not against any of that, okay? I am so into all those things. But I do think that if you're not enrolled in, say, a degree program where you have required classes that you must take to finish your degree, it's okay to not learn anatomy if you're not into it. I think it's completely fine. Oh, you got a nice username. I want to poop. I bet my daughter would like that username. I love to draw. I could never sit still for 2 or more hours. Do you have any advice you could give me? Well, I'll tell you, if I was not streaming live, I would be getting up and walking around because I start to get really angsty after a while and my foot falls asleep and it's not fun. So I spend a lot of time like just stretching and doing that type of thing. Another thing that really helps me, again, if I was not live streaming, I probably would be listening to NPR because to get in my Ari Shapiro time, you know, or I listen to a podcast. And I think sometimes if I have some level of distraction, that's not too distracting, that I can focus some of my time on, it makes it so I don't get too picky about my drawing process because I don't know if you guys do this. Tell me if you do in the chat, but I tend to ruminate a little bit when I draw, and I tend to pick at myself. And I'm like, oh no, I didn't do a good job. Oh yeah, I didn't. But I think if I'm listening to something else, I don't tend to do that so much. David says, followed along, did well last time, but now I'm just only watching, catching how you do it. Yeah, I mean, fluctuate. I'm going to be drawing a wild today because honestly, guys, I did better when I drew longer. It makes for a much longer stream, but you know, you don't want to watch, turn it off. It's fine. It's not difficult to do that. Blue Wool Spirit have been drawing instead of typing this time. Very cool. Well, you guys better tag me because I really like it when you guys show me what you are up to. Very cool. Luis says, I stare at my drawings too much until I hate it. You know what I do, Luis? Because I do the same thing. Take your drawings and don't look at them after you finish them. Put them somewhere else. Put them in a portfolio where you can't see them and then look at it a week later. Because your judgment is clouded. When I'm in the middle of drawing and I'm thinking about things, my judgment is not good. And oftentimes I'll think this is the worst thing ever. And then a week later I take it, I'm like, hey, it's not that bad. Other times you're like drawing, you're like, oh my God, it's so good. And then you take it out and you're like, no, it was not good. So I think having that distance can be very helpful. Gigi saying, what's the medium you find the hardest? I don't know that I really think about it in terms of difficulty as much as I think about it in terms of convenience or lack of convenience. I really like the crayon because it doesn't smudge. I know some people really like to draw with charcoal, but the smudginess drives me a little bit crazy. So I really enjoy something that I can get a charcoal-like effect that does not actually make the giant mess of powder that charcoal does. Patrick says, just learn that learning how to draw is a non-linear process. One day I feel like a great artist, the next day it looks like crap. Yep, that's how I feel. It is not linear. You do not get better, 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 better. It's more like better, worse, 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 a little better, worse. It's really all over the place. So none of you should ever punish yourselves if you feel like you're having a hard time with that. I had a student once who told me, actually, she said the worst critique she got in my class was on her final project. And she said it made her feel terrible because nobody likes to end a semester that way. But she said actually that later she ended up using the idea from that final project for her furniture design project 2 years later, and it actually worked out great. So things are not dead once you've done them. You can definitely come back to that. Okay, let's move on to some drawing. So I gotta get back into my drawing position and let's see who the next artist is. Okay, so let's go back to the demo scene. Okay, now we are going to look at the next pose. Who's the next person? Okay, let's see. The next person is actually a photographer who we have not looked at before, who I never knew about, George Platt Lines. I don't know how to say his last name. Anyway, you guys, let's take a look at this. I think this is a really beautiful back because the lighting is really good. So this one I'm going to do for 10 minutes. There actually will be time to do that. All right, here we go. Let's get the timer started. 10 minutes. Okay, here we go. And let me know what your questions are. Let me know what you guys are observing as I draw, because I'm always interested in that type of thing. I really do think you guys watching other people draw is so informative. I mean, it's like you can't verbalize that stuff. You really just have to watch. I feel that that is incredibly valuable. Okay, here we go. So let me just make sure I'm sizing this okay. Okay, so if we say that's about, okay, if the center line is kind of like that, it's not quite down the middle, it's a little bit to the left. And then if I put the pelvis, I guess that fits. I'm going to make it maybe a little smaller. I'm trying to get the sizing right. I actually have to work with the camera because if I was just drawing, it wouldn't matter, but I need to make sure that I size it well so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. It's actually, I think it's still a little bit large. Okay, let's make it a little smaller. Let's put the shoulder here. I think that'll be better. And let's just block in a little bit of the neck. Really dramatic pose. Oh, I love these These muscles here that you guys see at the top, those are the trapezius. And I know I'm going to like this guy's acromion process. And we will do some review because I think that's good for you guys to revisit some of the terminology. I mean, I tell students whenever I have taught an artistic anatomy class in the past, I did teach that class many years ago. I tell them, you know, I don't care if you don't know the names. That doesn't matter. I just want you to be able to find it. As long as you can find it, that's the most important thing. I mean, it is fun to act like a big dork and say tensor fascia lata. I like doing that, but if you're not your cup of tea, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna move this up. There we go. Now you guys can see a little bit better. Now, does everybody see the difference between the two sides of the backside? How this part, there's tension. This part, there is not. So I'm gonna really try to emphasize that in my drawing. And this, again, this is the love handle, which comes down this way. And I think I did not give him enough of a thigh. So let's go there. And oh my God, this is like the ultimate 7 cervical vertebrae. Does everybody see it? It's so pronounced. Thank you, George Platlines, for giving us such a beautiful 7 cervical vertebrae, which is up here. And gorgeous scapula. I'm gonna just slightly hint at them. I'm not gonna get into it too much, but I do wanna start just to mark it, just so I have a little bit of a clue. And you can barely see the hands, but I do need to put them in. It's a really weird photo, isn't it? I mean, I love it. It's gorgeous. The lighting is incredible. Okay, and now the head, this is a weird head because this head is so strange, the point of view, and the hair does not make it better, but what you can do to help yourself here is the ears. Now, does everybody see the ears are tilted? Okay, so this ear is higher than this ear. So when I draw, this ear is down here and this ear is up here. So that's a good tip, you guys. If you're drawing something that's symmetrical, say shoulders, like you can say, okay, which shoulder is higher? Which shoulder is lower? And that's very helpful because actually it's weird. I find that when people don't do that, they just automatically level it out. So if they're drawing shoulders, they'll just make them the same when really they're not. Oh my God, you guys, that is the best acromion process. I love this photo. Does everybody see this? Look, look, look. Acromion process. And then here's the deltoid. And I'm sort of slowing up because I'm getting all into the, you know, I'm doing the details too soon. Okay, this is what I got to do. I got to get my center line in, make that a little bit more concrete, maybe just a little bit more on the head because I don't feel like I have that so solid. Hair can be a problem when it's in the way. Sometimes it's really hard to see what's happening. Oh God, that head is tiny. Crap. Okay, that's bad, guys. Let's do this again. Okay, I think it should be way higher. How did I do that? You know what it is? Because I was leaning in too much. I need to get a little bit more distance. Okay, so let's do this again. I think let's put the ear out here, make the head taller, put that chunk of hair here, and this ear is like all the way down here. Let me step back a little bit. Okay, that's better. I think it still needs some work, but you know, I'm going to leave it alone for now because I need to spend some time doing some of the shadows. You know, I don't think this is bulgy enough. Hang on a second. I think this I actually do want to fix. I think this needs to be a little more dramatic. I might be over dramatizing it, but you know what, guys? I would rather over dramatize a pose than make it too stiff. Because when you make it too stiff, it's not fun. It's not good. I, in fact, really encourage people, look, do it more than you're comfortable with. Like if you make it too angled and you're not into it, it's probably just right, actually. Because for some reason, it's easy for us to think about it that way. Oh, dude, I love your 7 cervical vertebrae. It's so good. Oh my God, great. Okay, here we go. Maybe, I don't think I made the shoulders broad enough. See, I'm getting a little bit picky right now, which I don't really like. It's not a quality I am proud of right now, but you know what? Whatever, it's fine. I just want to feel more solid because once you guys start putting that tone in, it's hard to make changes. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, everybody remember what this is called? I call it my rug of tone because if you guys are moving into apartments, you don't want to put in your furniture first and then say, oh, I need to put in the rug now. That's really bad. I don't recommend doing that. Okay, and the hair, I'm just gonna block in. There are some dark areas, but I don't really want to get that dark that fast. And then down here, pretty dramatic shadow on this foot. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably thinking right now that I'm losing a lot of my strokes, and I am. I totally am. But it's a back and forth. Drawing is not, like somebody said earlier, it's not linear. It's a little here, you bring it back, you put it away. Now the head's too big. Okay, nice. Good job. Okay, let's make that smaller. In fact, I think what I'm gonna do with the head might be a little soon for this, but I wanna get in these like dark areas. Like there's this pocket of shadow underneath the ear. And I'm also realizing right now that I'm not being aggressive enough. When you draw on charcoal paper, it's a lot more textured. And so the sensitive marks that you can put on newsprint that will show up, they won't show up on charcoal paper. So that's an important thing to remember. Okay, let's go in. I want to start blocking in this scapula. Oops, shoot, I think I went a little too dark. Oh, terrible. Why did I do that? Not good. Oh, okay, I gotta calm down. Calm down, it's fine. It's fine, you'll work with it, you will. It just looks bad because nothing else is dark, right? Trying to reason my way out of that really dark mark. And it's true. I mean, sometimes you put down a mark and you think it's the end of the world, but actually sometimes it's just, it doesn't match the rest of the drawing. And so just going in and adding more darks will probably take care of that. But I know, it's like you put that mark down and you're like, oh, I killed it. It's the worst. It's the apocalypse. I can never take it back. You guys ever have dramatic moments like that when you draw where you're like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. I'm never going to make another good drawing ever again. It's like very dramatic. I don't know why we're such drama queens as artists. It's like nothing is ever just so. It's just always very complicated. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I'm trying to pull out the scapula. So I'm trying to get more rigorous and aggressive. And I'm trying to really bulk up the tone like this, but I really want to show the compression of the backside here. So this section I'm going to really pump up a lot. But I think what's hard about shadows is you want your shadows to group. You want them to feel like they're together. And that can be hard because sometimes you can fragment your shadows and then everything starts to look really patchy, and that's not good either. So I think it's really good if you guys think about your drawing in terms of layers. So you say, okay, I'm layering the crayon on top. And sometimes that's a more concrete way to go about thinking about it. Instead of saying, okay, that one mark is the end. I just say, okay, well, that's the beginning. That's the first layer. And now I'm going to work on top. So I'm going to try to pull out some of, yeah, see, I already feel like this is so thin right now. Can't really see. I guess I can sort of see PSIS. Sort of. I'm cheating a little bit. I'm guessing that's where it is. I think. Who really knows? And I would, if I had more time, go in and accentuate. You know, let's just do this one. At the very least, I can just get this little bit of his scapula going like this. Oh my God, this trapezius, it's so clear, you guys. I know we have not gone over that yet, but it's this like triangular shape and it's really obvious on this figure. It's really cool. You know, my curving process moved. Actually, it should be here. I think yeah, it like went off the center line. No, that's bad. Okay, that's it. So that is my 10-minute pose. Let me take a quick break and see what you guys are talking about in the comments. All right, so we did 2 5-minute poses. We did a 10-minute pose, and we're focusing on the back of the torso. Okay, let's see what people are talking about. Builder D, might be cool to hear your thoughts on how you might take a photo and figure drawing and develop it into a full artwork. That would be a very cool stream, Builder D. And what I could probably do is a series of videos that would lead towards something more developed. But I'd have to think about it first because I need to work out exactly how I want to do it. But that's a great idea. And guys, I am always looking for ideas. So if you guys have topics that you want to know about, tell us in the Discord channel. Tell me here. I'm always taking notes. We have a really long list. I love hearing what you guys have to say. Ripple of Aqua says, realizing real quick how important materials matter. Out of town right now, notebook paper is just not the same as my at-home sketchbook. Really important. Yeah, I think materials, sometimes I think, oh, it doesn't matter, but a lot of times it does. It really does affect your mindset, your physical engagement with the material. It makes a really big difference. Tammy's saying, looks like the side of your hand is sweeping lightly across the paper as you twist your wrists. Yeah, well, one thing you guys will notice, when I draw the figure, I don't lift my crayon. And I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people, it's these like staccato strokes, or sometimes it's like more like this. And I find that too slow. I think in a 2-minute pose, I just want to go, I just want to do that. And so if I keep my crayon on the surface of the page, there's a real fluidity in there that's inherent. You can't beat that. The other thing is I draw really light. And so even if I am making marks and they're not good, they're so light that it's really easy to draw on top of them. Juji says, would you have advice to, quote, fill or, quote, complete a drawing so it becomes a full artwork? My number one comment for that, Juji, have a background. So many people do not do backgrounds, or, and I see this a lot in the Discord, where people post stuff for critique and they say have a portrait, and the portrait is done, really detailed and beautiful, and then the background is blank, and they come into the critique channel and say, well, what do I do for the background now? And I say, well, you're sort of ahead of yourself. You should have been thinking about that from the beginning. And so I would just say, have a plan for your background at the very beginning. Don't tack it on last minute. And I think backgrounds really are the difference between a drawing look half done and really complete. So consider the background. Angie says, so guilty of tiny head figures. I just go with it and say I'm doing studies on shrunken heads. You know what I did though, Angie? And I totally paid for this. Is I was so stubborn when I was in art school, and I draw figures and I didn't like drawing heads. So I just didn't draw them. Like I did not draw heads on my figure drawings for a full 2 years. And then senior year in art school, I had a teacher who was like, nah, none of this crap. And he made me draw that. I could not do it, you guys. It was really embarrassing. It took me over half the semester to feel okay with it. And so I would just say, don't skip out on body parts because you're going to pay for it later. And it's better to deal with it now than to develop these habits that are just really, really hard to get over. Buzzy Miller has dramatic moments. Poodle Lover says, we artists are low-key drama queens. Yep, everything's the apocalypse. Have you guys noticed that? Everything's the end of the world. Although, teens, if you guys are in high school, I don't know what it is about you guys, but every summer, without fail, I will have a high school student say to me that they are dead inside. They're not dead, they're dead inside. I feel that that is very dramatic because you could say I feel dead, or you could say I look dead, but saying I am dead inside, that is true drama, I have to say. Poodle Lover says the back is so subtle yet so transformative. Like all the shadows and contortions are cool. Well, Poodle Lover, that's why I think the back is hard. I think a lot of people would actually much rather draw the front. I mean, first of all, there's a face. But second of all, there's just more to draw. I mean, on the front of the torso, you have nipples. Like, nipples are really helpful. They really are useful landmarks. And on the back, you don't have any nipples to help you out. So it's really good to have those landmarks. On the back, sometimes it just feels like, oh, I'm in this haze. I think this is here. Maybe this is a scapula. It's subtle. That's what is really hard. Paige is asking recommendations for shortening of the forearm towards the viewer. Always end up making an odd shape out of it. Paige, it's gonna look odd. I would just accept it. Because people say this to me all the time. They say, well, how do I make a foreshortened leg that looks real and convincing? I'm like, you're not, because it looks weird. You know what I would do, Paige? Look up. There is a painting by Caravaggio. It's called The Supper at Emmaus. I will put it into the chat right now. So it's Caravaggio. Supper at Emmaus. And there are two versions. You have to make sure you look at the older one. There's this one where Christ is in like a red robe and he's going like this. That's the one you want to look at. But there's this guy on the right-hand side who has his arms like stretched out. It's the craziest foreshortening. But look at that. You'll see how weird it is. This Caravaggio is going to look weird, so it's fine. 10,000 Crows, thank you so much for your support and the super chat. We really appreciate you guys. I mean, that is so wonderful that you guys can help us out because we need all the help we can get. I love working on Art Prof more than anything. It's my favorite project I've ever done in my entire life, but the financial part of it has not been fun. We've been bleeding cash for a while and I can't do it anymore. So we need your support. Dree Art is saying, best paper for Conte Crayon. I like charcoal paper a lot because Conte Crayon is really similar to charcoal. It's a little bit neater. It's not quite as powdery, but I'm a big texture person. So if you don't like texture, I think just average drawing paper is good. I do like Stonehenge. Stonehenge is pretty durable and works well for most drawing media. Let's see. Yellow Hat Art says, I've been watching the anatomy videos. I've seen improvement in very little time. I find myself thinking very similarly. Well, very cool. The question is, Yellow Hat Arts, have you been noticing deltoids on people? Because every time I watch a movie, I'm like, oh, he's got a really cool chromium process. Like, whoa, those are really big. So I usually do that when I go to the gym, but I'm not going to the gym now because of the quarantine. So anyway, Tiffany says, every time I draw the figure, I hear Clara's voice saying feet and noses will always look weird, and that makes me feel better. Oh, good. Yeah, apparently I'm in a lot of people's heads. I mean, I have students who get in touch with me later. They're like, every time I'm doing this, I hear you shouting this at me. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know. I probably did shout it at you multiple times. Thank you so much for the super chats from Citron and Ware. Really appreciate that, you guys. Yeah, join the raffle, you guys, because you can donate or support us on Patreon anytime you want. But this is the time when you could win this Twilight Zone. This thing is weird. I don't know that I'd want to live with this drawing. I don't know. It depends on your house and who comes over. But I mean, guys, I love this cat drawing that Lauren did of Tor. It's in our gesture drawing tutorial with cats. I mean, this is really fun. And you will get a chance to get this stuff. But if you donate later, then you don't get any of that stuff. You do get Patreon rewards. We have like a Facebook critique group. You can get snail mail from me, which is really fun. You can get exclusive newsletters. So you're going to get something fun no matter what. That is going to happen. But you will not have a chance to get these tutorial drawings at any other time. David wants to know about Baldomero Romero Resendiz works. Doesn't ring a bell right now. Possibly I know it and have no idea that I do. But I'll check it out later. Poodle Lover wants to say, do you like watercolor? Love it so much. Kind of want to do watercolor figure studies. Oh, that's a great, I should do that. If you guys want, I can do a stream like this, but I could do it with watercolor or ink wash because that would actually be really fun. I love doing ink wash figure drawing studies. Okay, guys, let's do a 20-minute pose because I want to really get in. And I think if you guys want, I might do like a really long pose today because I don't think I've done anything longer than 30 minutes. And I was thinking it'd be fun to do something that was maybe 45 so you guys can see where the drawing could go. Because I know the quick stuff is great for practice, but sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense until you can contextualize where that 2-minute pose fits within a 50-minute pose. So, okay, looks like people want the long pose. Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's get back into my drawing position and we're gonna do another session. So this time we're gonna switch it up and we're gonna do a 20-minute pose. Okay, so let's switch up the scene. The next person I am going to do, oh, and if you guys are drawing with me, tag us, art.prof on Instagram, and art.prof share, because I would love to hear from you guys. Okay, and remember, little bit of review, because the professor and me needs to make sure you guys are constantly reminded. Posterior, superior, iliac spine, PSIS. Remember, those are these two little nubs on the back of the pelvis. And if you guys are like, what the heck is a chromium process? This is it, okay? The two little bumps. On some people, they're visible. Other people, they're not. But if you guys look at it, the acromion process is actually like a little piece of the scapula, which is the shoulder blades. So let me show you that. So you can see them very visibly. I mean, the scapula, you guys, this is going to save your life. because on the back you have the center line, but then until you get to the PSIS, there's nothing at the top. So look for the scapula. Those are very, very helpful. But you got to remember, okay, first of all, they're shaped like pork chops. See, just like that. Although I did curate that photo. I did. I was like, I need to find a pork chop that's just the right size. So I had to go through Google, like, that's not the right size. I need it to be just the right shape so it looks like a scapula. I did find one though. And remember, the scapula, almost not visible from the side, but remember, that's what you're looking at. And there are parts of the scapula that are not visible, like the green part of this slide. It's all under muscle. You're not going to see that. You're really only going to see the red line area. That's what is going to be what's called subcutaneous, which means the bone is directly under the surface of the skin. Okay, so let's go back. We're going to get rid of George Platt Hines, and we're going to look at the next pose, which is, again, Herb Ritts. And what a gorgeous pose. I feel like this might be Naomi Campbell, but I can't remember. I mean, Herb Ritts did so many photos of celebrities, so I would not be surprised, but I could be totally wrong. Okay, you guys can argue in the chat over whether you think it's Naomi Campbell. Not like I know a lot about her. Okay, let's do this. And this will be fun because it's a female figure, so quite different in terms of the structure of it. This is also a seated figure, which totally changes the weight distribution of the figure. So I want you guys to really think about the compression of the form and to see where things are relaxed and where things are tense. I do that a lot when I look at a pose. I say, where is the tension? Where are things flaccid? And so if you can just think that to yourself in the beginning, it can help you capture the character a little bit better. Okay, so let's go. All right, we're going to do 20 minutes, and I'm already saying to myself in my head, oh, you got 20 minutes, relax. No, don't do it. Gesture, okay? Pretend it's a 2-minute gesture, and that's all you've got going. Okay, let me just size this to make sure I don't go way off the page for you guys. I actually, for these streams, I draw way smaller than I usually do. Like, I normally would draw way bigger, but it's just, for the purposes of camera angle and all that stuff, it just is a lot easier. Okay, so here's the center line. It's really diagonal. And the pelvis is like, oh my God, it's like so different. Wow. Okay, so here's the crease of the backside. And guys, you got to draw the thing that the person's sitting on. Especially in a seated pose, it looks really weird when you guys don't draw the stool. It's like, really, it's not bad to draw the stool. It's okay. Okay, ugh. I am getting distracted now, and I'm not working fast enough. Okay, hang on. Let's get the hair, which is a very large form, pretty important in a pose like this. And then let's find the elbows. Now see, this elbow is higher than this elbow, which says that I messed up this arm because this elbow should be here. Right, so this elbow should be a lot lower, and then this elbow should be a little higher. So again, that's the trick of things that are symmetrical. You say, where are they in relation to each other? Okay, let's just block in rest of the hand. Okay, I barely have enough room for this. Normally, I might take the time to move it, but I don't feel like it. Being a little lazy right now. Okay, so let me move this over a little bit so you guys can see the rest of that. There we go. Okay. I mean, I love drawing backs, don't get me wrong, but I just think that they're harder to do because they just demand that you look harder. I think of the front pose, you don't have to look so hard. Okay, something's funky here. I really need to work on, let's see. Let's get in the center line. Center line, I need it to be more solid because there's so many pieces here. Like, here's the shoulder. I definitely need to get the neck in because her neck is tilted. It's going this way. Okay, so here's the neck. And this is a profile. Like, I suspect this was not a very comfortable pose. It does not look comfortable. The ear is really good. I know I just made that look like an android, but oh well. This is all in shadow anyway, so it's fine. And you know something, what I'm going to do, guys? This is probably a little too soon. Maybe some of you wouldn't want to do this, but I think I'm going to do the shading pretty soon because the shading is pretty dramatic Oh, I'm not doing the hand. Bad, bad, bad. Okay, hang on. Hand is funky here because of the point of view, but look at the knuckles are sort of round. Does everybody see? This is the line of the knuckles, and then there's like planes for the hand, like that. It might be too big, but you know what? I'm not gonna try to fix it right this second. I think the hip, it's a little bit too geometric looking. And I'm looking at this hand compared to the bottom of the backside. So if that's the bottom of the backside, then that's the hand. And whoa, that thigh is too low. Okay, hang on. The thigh is like all the way here. So if that moves up, then this, it's a chain reaction. You have to, this is why you guys can't draw one piece at a time. Like if you say, okay, I'm going to focus on the thigh, it's going to mess with the rest of your drawing. And so you guys can see I'm moving around a lot and I'm changing things, and I don't spend a huge amount of time on one area. That's pretty important. Okay, the photo I have is cropped, which is sort of annoying because I think it's like up here, but that's okay. I'm just going to try to find the angle of the nose, a little bit of the chin, and then I got to put in this shoulder. Guys, I think I smushed her. I think I went, it looks like she's like a marshmallow. I like totally squished her. She's too wide. Is that what it, I think it's the shoulder. Maybe it's here. Okay, let's move a couple things around. The point is I'm not psyched about this right now. This is sort of annoying. And actually, guys, the arms are really hard. I feel like when you have somebody who's young and fairly thin, the arms are really a pain. There just isn't a lot to draw. I actually love drawing people that are older because I feel like there's more landmarks and the skin isn't so simple looking. It's a lot more engaging and more textural. So I actually really enjoy drawing people that are older, but sometimes you don't always have that opportunity. And it's actually hard to find photos of older people online. There aren't a huge amount compared to people who are really young. Okay, does everybody see down here? I gotta fix this because here's the hand. That's the thigh. Here's the knee. Okay, I gotta move this up. And this kind of goes off. I think the hand is too big. Yeah, for sure. That definitely feels too big. Okay, maybe more like that. Because I want to get the bottom of this leg, and then here's the stool. Does everybody see that? This diagonal right here, and then here's the corner of the stool. And of course the stool is cropped, so I can't really see it. But at the very least, this spatially makes sense now. Okay, does everybody follow me? So here is the upper thigh. Here is her kneecap. Here's the lower leg. This is the kneecap. And now this is the lower leg. And then that's the chair, I think. Maybe? I might have to come back, but I feel better now. Is it? I think I got the angle of the chair kind of funky. I think it might be, whatever. I'll move on later. We'll get to it. Let's move on by not dealing. That's what we do. Okay. I want to get in the elbows because that's an important bony landmark. This elbow, let's see. This elbow is like over here. I just want to put it in there. And I'm sort of avoiding the head, which I should not do. And I do want to put in, oh my God, she's an amazing scapula. Look at that. That's a really good scapula. It's so dramatic. This one you can't see very well. It's a little bit obscured. Let's get that center line really in there. Ooh, PSIS. Oh my God. It's so good. I love it. Thank you, whoever you are. I think it's Naomi Campbell. I could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe one of you guys can do some research for us. Okay, and here's, again, the external oblique. Is that, I don't feel like she has enough of a rib cage here. I could be wrong. You know, I'm not liking this face. But you know why? I think it's because it's a face. I think that's why I don't like it. You know, I don't feel that way about this brachioradialis on the arm. That doesn't bother me. But for some reason, this is bothering me. But what I'm going to do is show the direction of the hair because she has beautiful hair like that. And I do want to solidify the nose and just the form of the mouth. Like, I'm not really going to go in and actually make it dramatic, but I just want to do something that doesn't look like a total blob. I feel like that would be better. Okay, I'm going to come back to the hair, but shoot. Now I'm picking. This is not good. Okay, stop. Don't do that. Okay, guys, it's time for some tone. Let's get this in here. And I am going to try to be more aggressive this time because I felt that I was being a little tame last time we were drawing. Not a lot of lighting on the lower section. And what I usually say to myself, I say, what is just all tone? What is not the highlight? Like, to me, this whole face is all in shadow. The hair is fairly dark. And this is a big mass too, the hair. But I'm not going to draw individual hairs. I'm just going to show that the top part of the hair, this section is darker than this part. And that, at the very least, just holds the place. So don't be tempted by these individual hairs. I mean, I know they're fun. I know they're pretty. But you don't want to think about that. And same thing with the hair up here. Like, it's darker here. This side of the hair is darker than that side of the hair. And the face is actually even darker than the hair itself. Okay, so there we have a rug of tone. And I'm going to do more. Because I really want to... I don't know. It's just every time I do these live streams, like, I go back and I just, like, stare at the drawings. It's not good. I shouldn't do that. But then I, like, critique myself for a while. And I say, oh, there's not enough rigor. I need more energy. And drawing's getting too stale. Or then I look, oh, I didn't do a good job showing that structure. And so it's sort of like you want to do it all, but you can't. You can't do that. When you guys are drawing, you got to sort of move one thing at a time. But you do have to skip around. Skipping around is very important. So you guys can see I am doing that. And I'm going to get in center line back there. Put back the PSIS because they disappeared on me. And this, see, down here, okay, so here where the backside touches the stool, okay? What I'm going to try to do in that area is show this shadow, which is being cast by this arm. Does everybody see? It's like a little sliver of a shadow. Like, you almost can't see it. It's not that visible, but it's important because it shows the weight of the backside onto that chair. So what I'm going to do, there's a little bit of shadow here that's coming across, and then the arm, which is very dark up here, like this is all in shadow. Yeah, and this part is all shadow too. And this is really dark, the lower part of the arm, like that. See, it's tricky because I really like darks. I like my darks, but they can get you in trouble. Like, if you're doing them too soon, they can really be problematic. So that's the thing. Okay. The other thing, guys, I feel like this photo is a little bit distorted. I mean, that's the one thing about drawing in these streams that's driving me a little crazy is I know I'm not getting, like, a real version. Like, I'm getting somebody else's interpretation. But I'd rather do that than draw from Croquis Cafe. I'm sorry, I just can't do it, you guys. You know, if it works for you, great. I don't know. I can't really do it. Okay, see this pocket of flesh? This is where that piece of flesh, it's like pushing up against each other. And then the flesh comes out like this. So let's make that contour a little bit more pronounced. And, ooh, this is a nice shadow. So good. Okay, and then actually half the neck is quite dark too, so I'm gonna go in there. Shoot, this is like, see, I'm using Neocolor too, which is a little bit softer than Neocolor one. I gotta like replenish or something. I haven't had the opportunity to do that. Okay, so let's do I'm gonna move this up so you guys can see that a little bit better. Let's see, there we go. Okay. Really knock in the bottom of that. And you know something, guys? This is a good lesson. So does everybody see how the chair she's sitting on is like bright white? Okay. I think I had a professor, they told me that a really good way for painters to see skin tone clearly is to have a model pose against a white sheet, because then the color becomes very visible. Because if you have a model posing against, say, bright red, you're not really going to see the color. And so that's what's sort of nice about this image is that even though it's black and white, you can really feel the color of the chair. You can feel how, by comparison, her skin is a lot darker than the chair. And so I feel like having props like that can be very useful. So if you are working with a model, that is something that I think can be helpful. The setup is pretty important. Now, see, back here, this leg, it's a lot fuzzier. So you know something? I'm not going to spend as much time on this. I mean, I could. It's detailed in the photo, but I'm just not gonna. Can anybody guess why I'm doing that? That's a choice that I'm making for a reason. Tell me why you think I'm not going to work on this that much more. Why? Is there a reason for that, or am I just trying to mess with you? Which is very possible. And you guys know I had a student a couple of years ago, and they were my teaching assistant, so I know they didn't hate my guts. But they actually said to me, like, being in your class is like having Stockholm syndrome. I was like, thanks. Okay, sure. All right. Let's just really... Yeah, I want to get the weight. Like, I want to show the mass coming down, but I'm getting a little bit distracted. I feel like I should move back up here. You got to remind yourselves, guys. I mean, it is very easy, I think, to get wrapped up and be like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But you can't do that. You got to move around. Face I might actually do less as well. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm just trying to think through a couple of options for how I might do it. Because this is a very emotional response in a way. I think when you see a figure, you almost make up a story for that figure. I mean, she seems very elegant and like she's distracted by something. And so I think you guys, it does really help to say, what is the story? Who am I drawing? What are they doing? Because I know that for a lot of us, we are studying form, we are looking at shadow, and certainly this model we're looking, if she's Naomi Campbell, I don't know. She is an object to us in a way, but I don't know that that's a great way to think about figure drawing in general. I think that there's a humanity to this. And so just knowing that this is a person that has a story to tell, and you know, you don't know this person because this is not real life, but you can start to, I don't know, make up that narrative if you want. Okay, let's solidify the neck. The neck is getting really blurry and it's driving me a little crazy. And you know something, what I am starting to do, and you guys tell me if you're doing this, I am starting to pick and choose a little bit because you can't treat everything the same way. Like I have already chosen that I'm going to do less here. That's already been determined. I might do more on the face, but I've already decided that it's okay if I don't get there. But I really want this weight. I really, really want this. So let's just, I think I need to blend a little bit more because it doesn't feel substantial enough. Now see, this is starting to get really wiggly for me. Arms are really hard, you guys. Just not a lot to draw. Here is the tricep coming up like this. And I lost my elbow, so let's put that back. The elbow is about there. And now this elbow, I think I made it a little bit too pronounced. It's getting a little muddy. I mean, that's the issue. It's like you need the dark to define things, but sometimes the dark really messes with you and it makes things even muddier. So it's like, can't win. Yeah, I need a different neo color. I see that. Does everybody see these streaks? That's happening because my hands are a little bit warm. And so that can be a drawback of the crayons. Whew, okay. You know what? I got to start distinguishing. Do you guys see this is a really big patch of darkness? So what I'm going to try to do, I only got 3 minutes left. I'm really, really going to try to just make the tone make more sense because I feel like it got very streaky and now it's really getting on my nerves and I don't like that. And I'm losing my center line. Oh my God, this is not good. Okay, now I'm stressed out. Why? I was doing fine a minute ago. I was like, now this is like, shoot, everything's going wrong. I don't know why it's so dramatic. It's just, I don't know, maybe we get bored. Maybe if it wasn't dramatic, we wouldn't want to do it anymore. Who knows? I do want to get, oh shoot, crap. Okay, I have to just really, because I do like the mystery. Like I sort of like this face sort of blurry. I mean, it is getting muddy, which I don't like. And I do want to add more. And I do think you guys, people have been commenting actually on Instagram that my drawings look really different when I post them on Instagram. And I think it's just, you don't get the super amazing lighting. But maybe I would if you guys donated to the spring raffle. We'll get better equipment because poor Lauren, her laptop is so old, you guys. Like half the time on our Skype sessions, when we Skype into YouTube, her computer dies and it crashes. And we have so many technical problems because her laptop is just so old. Like it can't handle the stuff that you need to do live video. And so tech is a problem for us. We really need like better equipment right now. It really is a problem. It gets in the way. Okay, I'm trying to get a little more distance because I think some of my shading is like competing. I'm not working hard enough because this, it's this shadow. This shadow it's not strong enough. This shadow I'm working on right now really should be more rigorous. It's not rigorous enough. So I got to really put some muscle. And I only have a minute to do it. Oh my God, and then I lost the contour. The contour is all mushy now. That's not good. Yeah, I definitely want to do a longer pose after this. This one's really unsatisfying to me because I feel like I'm not getting what I need out of it. Something else? I think it's like a really delicate pose. And so you sort of are going to lose no matter what. It's like a lose-lose situation. That's why it is easier to draw bodies that are less subtle and are more obvious or exaggerated, I suppose. Maybe that's the word for it. And I'm losing this elbow. This elbow got totally lost in here. Oh man, I am not happy, guys. This is not good. I really was okay. I really was fine at the beginning. I was like, yeah, this is where now I'm not happy. And I'm almost done. Not good. I don't like this. No. Okay, let's just get really dark at the end. At the very least, let's get some value in there. We just need a little bit of something. Come on. No. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see. What are you guys telling me in the chat? All right, let's switch the scene. Come up here, see what you guys are talking about. What are you noticing in the stream so far? All right. Wow, you guys are talking a lot. Very, very cool. Okay, Shabnan says, the longer the drawing helps a lot. I have no idea what to do with the drawing after 15 to 20 minutes. Yep, I call that the plateau. Because once you hit the plateau, you guys ever get to this point where you're like, I know I'm not done, but I don't know what to do next. That is the plateau. And I think that is a point for a lot of people gets really confusing because you don't really know what to do. So I will get us past the plateau, which to me is about 20 minutes or so. So we'll do that. Okay, let's see. Supnir says, sometimes I wish there was time to hair dry a wash so I could dry it out, but there's no time. I have to figure a way to work around it. I use a hairdryer all the time. We've used it on set so many times. When Alex was doing his gouache tutorial, when Lauren was doing her acrylic painting tutorial, we've done it so many times. It's just really, in fact, I think I use my hairdryer more for art projects than I do to actually dry my hair. So thank you for the super chat, Onvo. Really appreciate your support. And Buzzy Miller likes drawing older people too. Tiffany is enjoying the emotional roller coaster that I go through when I do a figure drawing. It's so relatable. Well, because guys, it's not that straightforward. And it just bothers me when I see people online making it look so simple and easy. Like, okay, this is what it's like. You guys ever get a recipe book and there's like a picture of the chicken dish that you're making, okay? And then you make it, and it does not look like the photo. Like, that sort of makes me mad. Where I'm like, okay, obviously you guys did something when you made that chicken that I did not do. And that's annoying because people leave out the bad stuff. But honestly, you guys, the bad stuff, the mistakes, that's what you're going to learn from. You're not going to learn when you knock it out of the park. The critiques that I learned the best from were the critiques where I got ripped to shreds by my teachers. I mean, you have to be in a place to receive that. Not everybody's in a place to want to be ripped to shreds. I mean, it depends on the artist for sure. But I really think you guys, you have to see that it's not perfect. And then you feel not so crazy after a little while. Okay. Jillian is saying, is it to make the back the focus of the drawing? Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do the landmarks on the back because I think that the back, I mean, I love the back. I just think it's a beautiful, subtle form. And it's hard to do for that reason because I feel like the pieces I've seen of backs that are really amazing are really long-term. Like, actually, you guys should look at the French painter. I'm going to put this into the chat. If you guys look at Ang, I mean, you can be silly and call him Ingres, but, you know, whatever, I'm probably mispronouncing it as well. But he does beautiful paintings of backs. It'll depress you. They're so good. It's really, really sad. 10,000 Crows is saying, I think it's to create atmospheric perspective. Yep. Oh, you're doing your homework, 10,000 Crows. I'm so proud of you guys when you talk so specifically about these formal elements. Sleipnir says the back lead will recede because it's less detailed. Yep. So that's the thing, you guys. Just because it's there, it doesn't mean you got to draw it. And that's where I really think as an artist, you pick and choose. You don't act like a machine and say, oh, well, it's there, I have to draw it. Nobody says you have to draw it. You draw it if you want to. It's totally fun. Lisa says, how do you decide what to emphasize with a timer going? I think for me, it's a very visceral response. It's like, crap, oh my God, what do I do now? I just want to make it not look terrible. But of course, that backfires very often. Thank you for the second super chat, Onvo. Really appreciate your help. Buzzy Miller as well. You guys are fabulous. Thank you so much. I feel so supported. Builder D says, my big thing is I realize my mind doesn't talk like yours verbally. It's a weird response, kind of like dreaming or reading a book. That sounds nice. I wish it was like that. Because reading a book to me, well, unless you're reading something stressful, which I do sometimes, can be very relaxing. I just like reading because I feel like I slow down a little bit. Johnny says, really have to focus on getting the correct proportions. Yeah, I think I care less about the correctness and more about the relationship. So I might make the hips too wide, but as long as they work with what else is going in the figure, I sort of don't care that much. It depends. I mean, people have really different priorities. Like, you really have to ask yourself when you draw the figure, like, what am I after? Ask yourselves that question. Next time you guys draw a figure, say to yourself, what am I trying to do? And you can have a different goal every time you sit down. You could say, okay, today is the day I'm going to focus on lighting. That is my main thing. And it's okay if you don't think about everything. I mean, I let some of my things go to crap. It's fine as long as you guys are in there and you're really thinking. Rin Jeff says, thanks for having the sessions, looking to get back into it after a period of time. Well, I really recommend you guys that you draw along with me because it's really fun. It's so cool and it's low pressure, and if you mess up, who cares? Really does not matter. Marcio says, why so dark shadows in the back? Well, I think that's a choice that I made. I happen to be a sucker for dark shadows. It's something that I'm very attracted to. And another artist may not want to do that. Another artist might want to be more subtle and to be a little bit more somebody who emphasizes the highlights, maybe. It depends. I mean, what I like about this, you guys, is that when you guys post your drawings and I see what you guys are doing, everybody draws the figure differently. I mean, I've taught drawing classes where we're drawing a portrait and you could swear we're drawing 20 different people because everybody has their own take on the same model, which I think is really, really cool. Poodle Lover says, I'm always after the emotion. Why does it feel the way it does? I have to tell you, Poodle Lover, I care more about that than I do about proportions. Proportions, whatever. I mean, it's fine. To me, it's not really a big deal. CCH says, is there a way to increase your plateau time? I feel like mine is 5 minutes. I think what could help you, CCH, is to jump around more. Because what I usually do is I look at something, I say, well, what is the part of the drawing that is the least worked on? And I think a lot of people don't ask themselves that. So what I oftentimes see when I'm looking at students drawing in class is I'll be like, okay, you have not touched the hands and feet, and they've spent more time. So if you just look at it in terms of what is the least developed, that is the next thing to work on, because in 5 minutes, there's something to work on. I mean, after 20, 30 minutes, I can start to see that you're really like reaching to find something. But after 5 minutes, if you jump around and do that, that might be very helpful. Lise says, I'm really into proportions. It can be very frustrating. I need to learn to care less about it and focus more on the mood. Yeah, I mean, it's okay to be into proportions, you guys. I mean, I definitely went through a time period where that was more important to me and learning how to see. So I'm not trying to say it's bad to think about that. I'm just saying that accuracy is not my goal because I find that really boring and stale. But maybe for some people it is. That's totally cool. Yellow Hat Art says, do you recommend doing quick portrait studies like gestures? Yes, yes, yes. In fact, we should do a stream on that. And what I do want to do as well is a stream on hands, because I know people really have trouble drawing hands. And I want to just do like a bunch of gesture drawings of me drawing my own hands. I think it'd be really, really fun. Okay, guys, let's do this. I want to do a 50-minute pose, but I'm going to split it up into 25 minutes at a time, because then when I'm halfway through it, you guys can ask me questions, and then I'll have another QA towards the end as well. So let's get started with that. Yeah, noses, we're going to break down all of the parts. It's going to take a while because there's a lot of parts and there's a lot of different things that need to happen. Okay, so let me get back into my position. And we're going to do 2 25-minute poses in a row. So that way you guys can see a little bit better where this is actually going. Okay, here we go. And I will try to size this a little bit better so that way you guys can see that. Okay, so we're going to do 25 minutes for the first set, and then we'll do a break. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this one, and we're going to look at this pose. Oh, this is such a good photo, you guys. Oh my God, it's like amazing. See, that's the thing. It's like I haven't even started drawing yet, and I'm already excited. You have to be excited. You have to want it. Like, you can't draw and be bored. It's not going to happen. So find a way to get excited about it. That's why I was saying, make up a story. Tell me the story of this photo. Can you guys all do that right now? Everybody in the chat, what is the story of this figure? And maybe that will inspire us to put in some emotion into what's happening in my gesture drawing. Okay, so let me get out my photo. And again, Ritts, good job, Ritts. Thank you. Really appreciate all your images. I think he died a few years ago, actually. It wasn't that long ago. Okay, I'm actually going to switch to a lighter brown because my other crayon is sort of dying right now. Okay, so let's get started. We got 25 minutes. Now, what I want to do, I got to get the sizing right because of the camera. So if I'm at the top, okay, so I don't have a huge amount of space. Okay, so let's see if I make the torso, the rib cage is like this. So, okay, already the rib cage is tilted. This is really tilted. Oh my God, mega center line, dude. Sheesh, that is hardcore. Okay, so if that's the center line, and then this is the pelvis. Pelvis is really tilted. Okay, and then I'm going to place this, but I got to go back, okay? Let's get up into the head. The head is not something you guys want to leave for the last minute. I think a lot of people do that. They're like, oh, I got that. No, 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 no. Especially a pose like this, the way his head is tilted and his nose is going that way. But I love the gesture of this figure and I really want to nail it. Like, I saw this photo and I was like, that's it. That's going to be my 50-minute pose. Like, I really was excited when I saw it. Okay, now this arm, it is rounded. Oh, guys, I already feel good about this. I'm so excited. Okay, it's not going to last. Trust me, it is not going to last. But I'm already like smacking my lips thinking about doing this drawing. Okay, here we go. See, another thing that's helpful, look at the negative space. The space in between his torso and his arm. Although I'm lingering too much, I really should get over here. This is he's so like relaxed, but his arms are so gigantic. It's really sort of an awkward thing, actually, when I think about it. Okay, that does not look good. Okay, hang on, we gotta fix this. I think I didn't make his thighs big enough. Like, they seem way too small. And this should be a little higher. I feel like this is the external oblique, and now is that the torso? No? Okay, maybe if okay, I'm sort of picking. I shouldn't be doing that because I need to get back over here and block in the hand. The hand is really important. And this should be more tilted. I am not tilting that enough because, I don't know, it's sort of a weird pose, like the way his legs almost like fuse together. It's a really interesting pose. I like it a lot. All right. And then this leg kind of comes in front. Okay, I really want this hand though. This hand is really getting on my nerves. Super annoying. Oh, you know something else? One of you guys who is asking about the plateau, you know what helps me? I'm not going to do it now because I'm in the live stream, but if I was not in a live stream, I would get back and I would look at the drawing from far away. Like far away, not just that. I mean, really, like, get up out of your stool and just look at it really quickly. Okay, that is, I still feel like I'm not, I don't know. See, this is the best I can do to back up. Okay, I think I like mushed his torso. That is not good. That sucks. Okay, hang on. All right, there's the center line. We got to move the shoulders up. Okay, shoulders, let's put them up here. That does make the arm a lot longer than what I had before, but it does help me up here. Yeah, much better. Okay, good. Yeah, that's feeling better. Wow, I was way off. I was off by like an inch. Sheesh. Okay, so if that moves that, so here's the deltoid. Here is the top of the tricep, which is like the back part of your arm. He's got oh my God, his deltoid is like, it looks like a turtle shell. Like, it's like really gigantic. Oh man, and his trapezius is really visible. Sheesh, I really like messed up this head. Okay, I'm gonna try to lower it so you guys can see a little bit better, like that. And let's get the tilt of his head, which is pretty dramatic. The ear is really going to help you guys. You see, just putting that in there, I feel like I have something to hold on to. And then maybe the cheekbone, which is about there. And then I'm just a little tiny bit of the nose. I'm not going to do that much on it, but just a little bit. And I think, oh, geez, this looks terrible. Crap. Okay, hang on. Let's move the cheekbone down. This is the top. So like this muscle here, you guys, this is the trapezius, okay? So I'm really looking for, like, this is the trapezius, and then this is the deltoid, okay? So that's what we're looking at right now. And then jawbone, this is the jawbone in here, okay? And now here's the ear, cheekbone, let's make that, and then the eye sockets are like there, and then this moves down, and then the nose just peeks out a little bit on that side. So does everybody see how up here, it's all landmarks? There's no eyelashes, there's no nostrils. You're just thinking about form. And actually, I do think his trapezius, oh shoot, I'm slowing down. Okay, I gotta move. I gotta move more. Okay, let's see. Let's get in the scapula, which it's a little hard to see. The lighting is not great in this photo. Okay, oh, PSIS, I found him. Okay, good. They're a little crooked because he's tilted. And then I'm going to actually redo, I think I put the backside too high now. Shoot. Okay, I think it's down here. Yeah, I think, oh, okay, hang on. Let's try this again. Do you guys see how many times I have to redraw things? A lot of people, they just draw it once and they accept it. I'm like, nope, not with me. I definitely cannot accept this. Okay, so there's the backside. I think the thigh, I made it a little not wide enough. Ugh, this is a mess. Sheesh. Okay, so this comes out. Let's just really nail this in. Here's the bottom of the backside, and now here's the thigh. See, this gets confusing because an area like this, it really can just look like bleh, like mush. But you have to get over that. This arm, I think, is too straight. I don't feel that I got the roundness of his form, and I do feel like maybe I'm doing a lukewarm version, which makes me sad. Don't do that. Okay, hang on. Let's see if we can exaggerate some of these things a little bit more, but not too much. Maybe, see, I'm looking, that's the crease of the backside. Where does it relate to the wrist? The wrist is about here. And then that puts the plane of the hand here. Oh, my hand is not low enough? Yeah, I think it's not. Okay, so that's that. This you really do have to sort of slow down because the hand can be a little bit complicated. Okay, and then, okay, I know it looks like a mitten, but you're gonna have to do it. Mitten hands are sort of necessary at a certain point. Okay, and I do need to bulge the figure a little bit more. I'm just holding off because I don't want to do too much that's so specific in the beginning. Okay, now I'm outlining too much. I got to get into the figure. Does everybody see the difference? Right now I'm tracing, which is not good. I need to get in here. I need to show some of the forms that are inside the figure. Okay, so for example, I lost this arm. We got to bring it back. And then brachioradialis is about there. I can't really see his elbow. It's really dark in that area, so a lot of shadow. But I'm going to guess it's about there. I mean, that's a good thing. If you know the anatomy, you really can guess. You can say, oh, it should be about here. So that is one of the reasons why I do think anatomy is great, because when you get into those spots where I don't know, you can just make an approximation at the very least. Yeah, same thing with his hands. It's really like very dark in that area. It's hard to see. The way they did the lighting in this photo, I think, accentuates that. I mean, that's one of the reasons it's a cool photo, but it does not make my life easier. That's for sure. That hand is huge. Oh my God, what did I do? Crap. Oh, no. Wait. Okay, look at these two hands. You guys see I flipped them? This one should be higher. This one should be lower. Oh no. Okay, hang on. Let's go through this again. I think the legs are not big enough. I think it should be further down. See, I'm getting a little picky now because I really like this photo, and sometimes that's a trap you can fall into, because then you end up like loving the drawing so much that you don't want to make changes, and I really need to. So, okay, I'm going to rearrange this whole thigh area because I messed up these hands. I think it's hard for me to see, but I suspect this one might be not long enough because I'm squinting a little bit. Something is not good here, guys. And again, I'm not going after accuracy. I'm going for relationships. I'm saying which is higher. I don't care about necessarily the size or the accuracy of that, but I do want to know, am I getting them in relation to each other? That matters to me more than anything else. That's what I mean when I talk about relationships and proportions. Like a lot of people, I think, will say things like, oh, that's too high, that's too low, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't really care. I just want the arms to look good together. That matters more to me than, oh, does this one arm look good here? Okay, let's move down the elbows. So this hand is going to come all the way down here. All right, and now this hand, I'm going to move this one up. Oh, this one needs to bulge out more? Oh, guys, see, here's my problem. I had a little honeymoon period with this drawing, and now I'm paying for it. Not good. Okay, hang on. Let's move up his bicep, which is about there, and that will then move up this muscle. These are like these extensor muscles, which happening. I know I'm sort of over-laboring this drawing, but I really don't want to get into the tone until I feel more solid about what's happening, because I feel really unstable right now, and I don't like it. It's not good. Okay, let's really get the planes of this hand. Ugh. Oh my God, this is such a mess. This is bad, guys. Okay, hang on. I know it's hard. I think I drew it. Again, I think I drew it a little bit too big, so it's not so easy to see. And then we got to go back. See, I was picking too much down there. I need to go back up here. Let's just work inside. I know that there's other things that need more work, but right now this is really empty, and I think this matters more. It's like priorities. It's like, how do you prioritize? What is more important? And actually, guys, I really think the more important stuff, it's always the stuff that's not fun. It's always the stuff where you're like, ooh, I want to do that. And that's always like some little detail that like does not matter. And it's like all that fundamental anatomical stuff. That's the stuff that's hard. And it's like invisible work. It's like, that's the type of thing people don't even know how much work you're doing to establish the drawing and to make it functional. It's really, really challenging. Okay, let's start to emphasize a couple more areas. I do think, see, my drawing's getting really liney now, and it's sort of bothering me. So you know what? Even though I think I really could do more, I'm going to start putting in tone, because I honestly think the tone is going to help me work out some of these areas. And this is a pretty dark photo, so I'm going to have to work pretty hard to block in some of these areas. A really cool highlight on the backside. And the lighting's so dramatic here. I mean, it's almost like 3 tones. I feel like the shadow, like this highlight here, is like really, really harsh. And that's where the photography gives you that distortion. Like in real life, I would not have to deal with that. But in a photo, I do, for sure. Okay, so I'm just trying to get in, because the light is coming. So this is the direction of the light. It's coming this way. And I'm going to try to get that in place. Actually, it feels good to move around. I think I was getting a little picky and stuck. So you have to make yourself get up and go. It's sort of like exercising. Like you don't want to go, but you know you should. I did not exercise today. Sometimes I have to pick between exercise and sleep. It's really hard because they're both pretty important. Oftentimes sleep wins, but other days I like getting all riled up at the gym because it's helpful. Okay, see, I'm getting those streaks again. I think my hands are just like really sweaty. I think I should get the Neocolor one. The Neocolor one is a lot better, I think, because it's not water soluble. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. Oh my God, it feels so distorted. Oh my God, it's so crap. Okay, hang on. I think this got too wide now. See, now I'm picking. Don't pick. That's not good. Oh, this is so massive here. Okay, we gotta stop with the tone. You're not ready, Clara. You thought you were. You're not, though. You're so not ready. Okay. It's a back and forth, guys. Don't try to figure it out. You can't figure it out. It's not gonna happen. You'll be a lot happier if you just accept. You're just not gonna. I mean, that's why, like, that 20-minute thing where I'm, like, not going to do anything good for 20 minutes, it helps me. It helps me just accept that fact, and then I can just enjoy the process of drawing, which I do. I mean, I love that part of drawing. I don't know if you guys feel this way. Tell me in the chat, but even if I have a terrible drawing session and I don't like anything that I do, I still like it a lot. There's almost nothing else I'd rather be doing most of the time than drawing, because it's nothing like it. And I do think that drawing gets you to slow down. I feel like everybody's at such a hectic pace now with smartphones and technology, and it's like, what other opportunities do you have to like really stop and look at something for a really long time? I'm not just talking like 5 minutes. I mean, I'm looking at this drawing, I'm going to look at it for 50 minutes. That's a really long time. Okay, I lost his center line, so I'm going to pull it back because I'm losing the form in that area. Let's just get this a little bit bolder, a little bit more dramatic. And yeah, there's a weird shadow here that's like in between. And PSIS, I think it's more up here. And I think it's like really tilted because he's really tilted. Okay. Oh my God, guys, it looks so bad. Oh my God. I'm so upset with myself. Okay, we're going to bring Jack to life. We're going to resurrect this. We really are. I've got time. I still have 9 minutes in this beginning, and I'm going to do another one after this. There's plenty of time to resurrect this, right? I can do it. I can. It is possible. You know what I want to start doing is I want to start distinguishing one form from another. So, for example, over here, you guys can see there's a pretty bright highlight, which I totally destroyed. But I want to just pull out some darks here so that I can distinguish this form from this form. Okay, so that's going to work a lot better. And is it the crease of the backside that I don't like? Is it? I don't know. Like, I can't say. I'm at the point now. Tell me if you guys are at this point where you're just like, I don't know. I don't know. I've been looking at it for a while. I have no idea. You know, it's like once you've looked at something for a while, it's like everything looks the same and you just can't see things straight. I tell my students all the time, I'm like, guys, half the reason I know what to do is because I'm not you. It's not my drawing. It's a lot easier for me to step back. Hard for you guys to do because it's your drawing. That's what's going to happen. Okay, and I'm going to start, again, like the other one, making choices about, okay, what do I want to emphasize? What do I not want to emphasize? Ooh, shoot, did I lose his external oblique? Oh, no, no, it's gone. No. Okay, here's the external oblique. Is that the pelvis? Is it? I don't know. I think that's the external oblique. I think it is. Okay. It is for now. Let's see if it works out. I don't know if it's going to work out long term, but we'll just try it. So here I am. I'm just drawing right over stuff. That's okay, guys. I enjoy seeing mistakes in a drawing. I find it satisfying to see where people redrew things, where they went back and made big changes. I think it's very, very useful. Okay. We need to give him an elbow. His elbow is not happening, and I really need that landmark in here. Geez, I'm going to have to work hard for this tone because this photograph, the lighting is so dramatic that it's actually pretty hard to do for that reason. And you know what I might do? You know what I'm starting to think now? I just came up with this. I did not plan this at all. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't like my lines. And so I feel like what I might try to do is try to give this drawing a feeling that maybe is a little bit more painterly. So maybe I'm going to soften some of my marks that are darker and really push the tone. I wasn't going to do that. I was just going to focus on getting anatomy and all that stuff. But I don't know. For this photo, for some reason, it strikes me as being very painterly. And I feel like I want to capture that. Okay, this part of the scapula really stands out. So I'm going to try to push that forward more. And there's this like indentation here as well. And here I lost his center line. Dude, why is your center line so mysterious? All right. Yeah, because I feel like I want to make this, it's a really sculptural photo. And I think if I was drawing something else, I might not feel that way, but I definitely do with this drawing. So I'm going to try to really sculpt this drawing. I'm going to really get into the tone. And, you know, if I lose some lines, so be it. It's fine. It's okay. So I guess what I'm doing right now, if you guys are wondering, I think I'm just making a stylistic choice. I'm just saying, you know what, this matters more. This matters less to me. It's different for every single person. But I think that's worth talking about in your head. Like, what stylistic choices am I making? Am I not making any? I mean, it really depends on the artist. Because not everybody wants to be bothered by that. And, you know, sometimes you just want to focus. You just want to draw for a little bit. Okay. Now, oh my God, this looks like a crab hand. What did I do? Okay, let's push this up a little bit. Because you can see, like, there is a slight shift of tone in here, and that does help somewhat, but I lost the boniness of this hand, and now I'm regretting it. Oh, that's the wrist. Okay, we need the wrist. Maybe the knuckles here. See, I lost the plane of the hand. The hand looks like mush now. Let's get these planes. Think about fingers in terms of planes. Don't think about them in terms of fingers. You think about them in terms of fingers, you're screwed. It's going to look like a glove. Trust me. I've seen it 1,000 times. You got to treat it like hands are almost like an architectural form. So if you think about them as an architecture, it might help you. Okay, this seems really mushy. I'm not liking it, but too bad. I'm just going to have to accept that. See, the thing is, like, I feel like I'm totally underestimating. I feel like he got really wide. I don't know. The photo's so good. The photo's so beautiful and elegant. I feel like I can't compete with it, if that makes any sense. I mean, that's another drawback, is I feel like I'm not really drawing my own interpretation, because this is a model who I don't know, and I'm drawing this photographer's interpretation of that model. So to a certain degree, I feel like there's a real limit to my voice here, because I am really in the head of Ritts, who is the photographer. Very, very different. That's one of the reasons I just don't like working from photos. I feel like a lot of the interpretation has already been done, and I'm not using the raw materials to focus on. I really want this shoulder to look better, so let's just spend some time bulking that up. And this is an amazing deltoid. How many hours do you think he spent at the gym to get these deltoids? Oh my God, these people are crazy. Like, I just could never do that. It's such discipline to like spend all that time working out. Then again, it is your livelihood. I guess if you're in Hollywood, you sort of don't have a choice. You have to be pumped up and stuff. I guess unless you're Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito, I don't think does that. Okay. Now see, again, okay, you know what it is? I'm getting distracted by the shadows. This is not good. Like, I'm starting to cut up the shadows too much, and I'm losing the bigger, larger shapes. So actually what I need to do is see this. This has to get much darker, because this part of the figure pushes back. It's a very dark section. So you know what I'm going to do? I only got 2 more minutes left in this pose. I'm just going to bulk this up, because I just feel like I did not do a good job of that in this area. And now I'm sort of paying for it. Oh, I did not do a good job on this. Over here. Yeah, this, shoot. I don't want to lose the center line. It is very dark. Like, you can see a little bit of his spine, even though this is a pretty dark area. There is like little pieces of highlights in there, and I don't want to totally destroy that. So, and also you guys will notice now that I'm doing more heavy tone, I'm now drawing with the tip. I'm not drawing with the side anymore. The side is really great in the beginning, and also if you want to even stuff out, but sometimes the tip is better for evening things out. Like, that's sort of what I'm doing right now, is I'm going through and I'm changing my pressure, like how I'm pushing down in response to the marks, because there are some areas here I can see the marks are starting to get really plain and choppy, and I don't like that. I'm trying to get them to group a lot better. Oh, and then actually here you sort of lose his center line temporarily, because this is starting to get dark. So again, it's like you think about it as layering. Like, I did one layer with the side, I did one layer with the tip, and this is where you still are thinking big picture. You're still filling things in. Now this is another pocket here. Like, this is really dark. So, okay, I got 20 seconds. Let's go in and just really push this a lot in terms of tone. Whew. Okay, this feels a little bit, I shouldn't say anything. It's terrible, right? Maybe reverse psychology will help. Maybe it'll make things easier. Let's try and get this a little bit more dramatic. Like that. Oh, shoot. Okay, there we go, guys. That is 25 minutes. Let me take a break and see what you guys are up to. Okay. See what's going on in the chat. You guys are noticing things that are different. All right. Let me scroll up a little bit. Let's see. Danya says, I wish I felt that way, 10K. I'm rather the opposite currently, because 10,000 Crows said I love drawing because time stops and nothing else matters. I totally agree with you. I feel like it's like a time warp that you enter that is really, really cool. Maria says, used to have a lot of trouble when I tried to outline the figure before the inside. I got things all wrong. If I have to do the details of the anatomy in the center of the figure to know where to go. Ian Light says, I feel like it's a lot of adjustments as you zoom out and zoom back, but also not every drawing has to end with correct proportions if it's a sketch. Yeah, you're right. I mean, who cares? It's totally fine. Okay, let's see. Yellow Hat Art says, I don't know, but I really like to draw glutes. Gluteus maximus. It's a lot of form. It's like even on someone who's fairly small and thin, there's forearm there. It's pretty substantial. It's a really cool thing. Buzzy is saying, what age do you recommend for art prof? Because I'm 12. I think, Buzzy, if you're here, it's great. It's all for you. Because you know something? When I was a kid, I watched Bob Ross because that's what was on. Like, we did not have Netflix or Amazon or any of this stuff. It's just that was what was on TV. And so that's what you watched. And I remember thinking that it was magic. Like, he would do this thing with his palette knife and I just was mesmerized. And so I could not, when I was 10, do that because I didn't have oil paints. I didn't have a palette knife. I didn't have any of those things. But I still liked watching it. And I have had a lot of people tell me, I'm not an artist, but I like your channel. And so I think if you think it's fun, stick around because I think it's great that you're here. I think it's super cool. We have people here who are like older than my parents. We have people here my age. We have people who are 13, 15, 16. It's really, really cool. It's an amazing demographic. So really, really fun. Okay, let's see what else are you guys saying. Rin Jeff is saying draw with an eraser. That's what my friend always told me when I was at the point of, quote, no return. That sounds like Phantom of the Opera, like the point of no return. I mean, you guys will notice that I don't draw with an eraser. And that is not an accident because my feeling about an eraser, I love erasers, don't get me wrong. But when I'm under a time situation and I don't have all the luxury to sit back and work on it for 6 hours, I feel that it keeps me moving forward because if I'm doing a 20-minute drawing and I actually stop to go back and erase something, I don't know, there's something about it. It really disrupts my rhythm. I feel like it breaks up running back and forth. And I feel that without the eraser, it just makes things more straightforward. There are fewer options. And if I make a mark, I got to deal with it. I mean, you guys saw I redraw things so many times, but I deal with it. I don't say, oh, I have to erase and start over because I think the whole I have to start over mindset, it can start to get toxic after a while because I have definitely seen students who start over so much that they never make anything. And that's not good either. Like I would rather make a lot of bad drawings than erase so much that I had nothing. And so I think that would be really helpful. Paula says, could you not say that your drawing in itself is an interpretation, reaction? It is. It's just that to me, it's one step removed from the raw material. And my feeling is that if I can work from the source, I will. I work from photographs all the time, you guys. But the photographs that I take, they're oftentimes my own photos and they're pretty staged and I'm looking for something really particular. And so it depends on the person. I mean, I would never show this because it's an Herb Ritts photo that's really popular. It's good as an exercise, but it's not going to serve me very well in terms of making my own artwork. Blue Wolf Spirit says, I may not like the whole piece, but each one, there's at least one good thing that I like. And thanks for encouraging the practice. Exactly. I mean, here's the way I see it, you guys. Okay, you're going to do a lot of drawings and you're going to not like a lot of them. But as long as you learn and feel something from that experience, that's all that matters. And I feel that way about teaching too, because sometimes I'll talk to other teachers and I mentor a lot of younger teachers and they say things to me like, oh my God, that class was so hard. I don't feel like I got through to the students at all. And that class was a massive failure. And I say to them, well, is there one person in that class that you think got something out of your class? Like, yeah, there was this one student who really, I'm like, it was worth it then. It was worth all that time, all that preparation, because you got through to that one student, and that matters. I mean, hopefully it's more than one, but as somebody who has taught in so many different contexts, many of which are very challenging to work in, I mean, I feel for people when they're having a hard time with a class, but you get through to that one student, that's all that really matters. Let's see what else is going along. Damara is drawing along. Very cool. And Yellow Hat Art says, do you know any cheap block snuff paper? I'd really like to draw these warm-ups in a larger scale. If I do it on not so cheap paper, I feel kind of guilty. It's hard to make that decision. I mean, it sort of depends on how you feel about it. I have now been using nicer paper because the newsprint was driving me a little crazy. And also I want to be able to show these pieces if people want to purchase them or something like that. So I just felt like it would be smarter for me, because the second I do a drawing on newsprint, I basically cannot sell it because it's not archival. And I think that it would be better for me to do it that way. Marcio says, to me, the pick is all about lighting. Is it okay redrawing it, focusing on the movements instead? Of course. I mean, if you see this photo and to you it speaks about movement, then do that. Somebody else might look at it and say, no, to me, it's more about shadow. And if that's what you want to do, then do it. I think that's the most important thing. Justin Roundy says, how do you feel about doing this on toned ground? They only don't slow me down if I think of them as drawing the white. Oh, wait, sorry. I got a comment confused. Okay. How do you feel about doing this on toned ground? I like my eraser and my charcoal both to be mark making tools. I love that technique, Justin. It's one of my favorite things. So what Justin is talking about, there is this additive and subtractive technique where instead of starting on the white of the paper, you tone the whole sheet of paper with vine charcoal to make it like a medium gray. And then you can add darks and you can remove highlights with an eraser. And we do have a tutorial on our site where I do demonstrate that with cross-hatching. So you guys could check that out. But I think, Justin, for me, that technique really takes a while for it not to look like total garbage. So I don't tend to like doing that technique unless I know I have at least an hour and a half. It's just too time consuming. So for me, that would be pretty important. Let's see. Sunshine Goblin says, what determines something as archival? Well, for paper, it has to do with whether the paper is acid free or not. And so if the paper has acid in it, in theory, eventually it's not going to be around. I mean, newsprint particularly will yellow over time. I mean, I had these figure drawings that I did when I was in art school in like the 90s. They're totally yellow. And you can't sell something that you know is going to turn yellow later. That's a really bad idea because it's just not good. Yeah, works on paper, they're very fragile. And so I always make sure that it's a good quality paper that's not going to fall apart if I'm going to actually sell it to somebody. If I'm just making it, who cares? But if I want to sell it, it has to be good archival quality. And Mari is saying, thank you for saying that about getting through to one student. I don't teach art, but that makes me feel a lot better with my subject. Yeah, you guys, you cannot have such high expectations. I mean, if you want to knock it out of the park every single time, you're going to be pretty disappointed a lot. So it's not about lowering your expectations necessarily as much as it is just accepting that it's all part of the process. To say, you know what, those crummy drawings I did yesterday, they made me feel like crap and it's the apocalypse and I'm going to feel dead inside, but they contributed to my drawing process. I think that's pretty important. Okay, let's see what's going on. Plant King Boy says it's been a while since figure drawing. Great workout. Very cool. And Keith Larson says, I love the non-archival nature of newsprint. It means the work is, quote, is not for, quote, keeps, just for practice. Yeah, that can help you too. I mean, oftentimes if you have just newsprint, it's like you don't care so much. You don't tend to be so precious with the work. Rinjeff says, I misunderstood what they were trying to say. Sorry, I'll have to scroll back up, but I don't have a moderator tonight, so I'm on my own. Sorry about that. And Danya says, some of my favorite things I've created have come when I had crappy supplies and no inhibitions. That is really true. I have to say that sometimes the pieces that we feel are just for fun or just for practice can actually feel more meaningful than the pieces when we are actively trying to be more meaningful. It's weird. It's a funny thing. I mean, Lauren Welch, one of the teaching artists here in Art Prof, we talk about that, about how sometimes the things that you're not taking seriously actually can feel more poignant later on. It's a very odd thing to think about. Okay, guys, let's do another 25 minutes. Let's see where this goes. And then we'll wrap it up and see what I did today. We'll see. Okay, let me get back and into my drawing position. And let's see where we take this herb Ritts drawing. Okay. Yeah, I wish I had a better webcam, guys. I'm sorry. I just don't have the better equipment to be using. but I'm going to do the best I can. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to squint because I feel like I got really tied up in all the little pieces, and I need to go back. I need to put this together so it doesn't feel so fragmented. I feel like I got too caught up in that. So, okay, let's start the timer. We've got 25 minutes to go. We'll see where this goes. Okay. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to do what I talked about earlier, which is grouping the masses. And I do want to start to pull out some of the bonier sections. And you guys will also notice that my rhythm is much slower now. Very different pacing. I feel a little bit crazy when I first start drawing. I mean, in a good way. I like the energy a lot, but I do slow down a lot. And I think that is important to think about your pacing. Like, okay, am I really going to go nuts right now? Am I going to be a little bit more meditative about this process? Like, whatever it is that you want to do. I think it helps to just ask yourself what you're doing and why. So I'm going to do more here. Actually, you know what I might do? I might pull out this other one. I don't know if it's going to... This brown, it's like a little bit darker. It might give me... Although I could regret it later on. Who knows? I don't know. This one's really small, though, and my crayons are, like, on the other side of the room. So, you know, I'm going to pitch it because I don't think I have enough to finish the piece. These crayons can go pretty fast if you're doing a lot of tone like what I'm doing. They don't last for that long. Okay. All right. I am trying to not just fill everything to death, but I really want these darks to be more solid. They're bothering me a lot. And I do want... Because it's sort of like what I was telling you guys. I think I've said this in other streams, that if you get a good torso, the other stuff is less important. I mean, don't get me wrong. It would be nice to have a beautiful, amazing arm. But I'm just saying, like, in the order of priority, I really try to have a good torso. I feel like that matters way, way more. And I do want to give him a little bit more. He's getting a little mushy down here. So I'm going to try to make this section here just a little bit more geometric. I feel like I lost some of the bony structure. So here I'm thinking more architecturally and less in terms of form. I'm thinking more in terms of planes. That's more what I'm looking for. Okay, and actually it's a little hard to see in the photo, but I think you can see a little bit of a differentiation down here. I think the muscle stands out. It's hard to see in the photo. It's not very easily seen. Okay, I guess, you know, I might bring over that other crayon because this crayon's totally dying on me right now. We'll see. Okay, because I really got to build this up. So now what I'm doing, I need to get the light going. So he's got this reflected light. Does everybody see? This is reflected light, okay? That's not the same thing as direct light. And we do have a tutorial about lighting, if you guys want to check that out. And maybe that, because I do think lighting, it's not complicated, but you have to know what to look for. And if you don't know the difference between, say, a cast shadow and a form shadow, it can be very confusing. That's what it is, you guys. Anatomy and lighting and all these things that we talk about, the more formal aspects of being an artist, it's just learning how to identify. That's it. It's not about accuracy. It's not about getting it right. It's not about being correct. It's just know what you're looking at. Am I looking at muscle? Am I looking at a tendon? Am I looking at fat? That's all it is. So if you guys just focus on that, I feel like that is a better amount. That's a better way to spend your time than to say trying to obsess over, oh, what muscle this, what muscle that. Because I'll tell you, there's a lot of muscles I don't know. And that's okay. I'm still fine. It's okay. It's worked out okay. Yeah, he's getting mushy. Oh, that bums me out, guys. Because I like my structure. I like my structures to really be more substantial than that. Yeah, okay, we need the tension here. Does everybody see this is mush? We need to show there's a lot of tension here because of the way that he's standing. So I'm going to really build this a lot in here. It's tricky because some of this is like really subtle stuff. Like if you look at his thigh, there's actually a little trace of reflected light there. Not a lot, but it is in there. And I do want to start thinking about edges. Edges are something I don't think about in the beginning, but I am going to think about right now. And you guys will see this edge, I'm making it pretty crisp and pretty visible. And then down here, I'm going to let it dissolve a lot more. So it's like sometimes you have like a really soft edge. Sometimes you have a harsh edge. And the important thing is that you move between the two. Don't make everything crisp and don't make everything soft. You have to have a variety. I think that's the key to drawing, is having that variety is very, very important, because if you don't have the variety, it's boring. It gets boring really fast. Okay. Yeah, I need to get a new crayon. This crayon is totally not surviving. But let's bulk up the glutes. We were talking about the glutes earlier. Gluteus maximus. I remember in 4th grade when we found out that your butt was a gluteus maximus, we thought it was the funniest thing. I don't know why. I don't know why butts are so funny, but they are when you're in 5th grade. I mean, I guess they're funny no matter what grade you're in, or if you're not in a grade, they can still be funny, but there's something about it, I don't know, that I find hilarious. Okay, we got to get into the head. I'm sort of ignoring the head, and that's not a good thing. Like, do you guys see how this is way more developed than the head? That's a bad thing. So I got to go back in here, and I need to start really showing some pockets of dark, the shadow. Like here, I don't think I gave him enough cheekbone. I think this should be more substantial. And then up here too. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with that female figure, is I'm going to de-emphasize the face. And if anything, I'm going to make the ear more pronounced, because the ear has this like very dramatic shadow on it, if you guys look at that. And then here's his trapezius, pulling up his trapezius a little bit better. And now here I'm going to really dig in, because this is a very substantial shadow that we're looking at. And again, more reflected light coming up here. And this is very dramatic too. See, it's tricky, because if you do all the edges so harshly, you can end up making the figure looking like it's cut out. And I don't want to do that. So that's another reason why you may not want to draw things exactly as they are, because you can end up making your drawing look super flat, which is not so great. And I want to show that this is like a very hard part of his head. Like here, what I'm drawing is rigid. This is like pure skull. That's exactly what we're looking at here. So I want this to be a little bit more refined, like that. And there's a plane here. Like this is the trapezius right here. It's very dramatic. Let's make this plane a little bit more. And then here, this is the center line being continued. And so this, I'm going to give it a harsher edge. And this, I really want to bring this out, this scapula. So sometimes the way to bring something out is to draw around it, because like I could draw it in there, but I'm not gonna. I'm actually going to draw around it. And so sometimes it's the background that you need to work on, or it's the form that's next to it that is better. Okay, let's make this darker. You know what? I'm spending too much time on the torso, but see, part of me is starting to get a little picky about this, because now I want to make the shading like all perfect, but I shouldn't do that. I really should move on to other areas like the arm. I need to give the structure. Yeah, okay, I think I made the bicep? Yeah, that's the bicep. The bicep's getting really balloony. It does not look like muscle. Muscle is tense. Muscle has a tension to it. And if you don't get that tension, it can screw you over really fast. Now here, I'm starting to emphasize the elbow. So this is like another landmark. And it's hard to see here because the lighting is so specific. Here, I'm going to get really dark. And I'm going to let this edge sort of fuzz away, let it melt a little bit into that area. And then in here, I need more tension. This looks like a fish. I don't like that. This is not good. Okay, let's show the form. I think I need to draw with the tip more. See, you'll notice in the beginning, I never drew with the tip. Now I'm drawing with the tip a lot. And so I do think that how you hold your supplies can be very helpful. And also you can see like a little bit of his extensor muscles in here. So I'm going to show that. And I do want the wrist to be more pronounced. And this part as well. Yeah, this is turning into a very painterly drawing. It's pretty different than some of the other ones that I've done in the live streams. But I'm having fun with it. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's because I like tone. I'm sort of indulging myself right now. Like, I don't know if this is like taking my vitamins as much as it is just like eating chocolate, but that's okay. It's Friday night. It's fine. Okay. Although, oh my God, guys, I'm so behind. I have so much work to do. It's insane. Oh my God. Who here is behind? I'm so behind. And I gotta bust my butt this weekend because that art prof graduation stream and the raffle, there's just too much going on right now. It's a little bit insane. Okay. It's still mushy. I need to get, maybe it's the shoulder needs a little bit more definition. So if I come in here and I add like this little sliver of shadow in the deltoid, let's just really get specific with the line work. I mean, I probably could work on this even longer than 50 minutes, but I just wanted you guys to see how, and you know, we might do a stream where I just do one drawing for 2 hours. That might be fun for you guys to really see, because I think that at every stage of drawing, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes, like there's such different goals, and there's so many different things you can do or cannot do depending on the length of the pose, and really understanding, okay, what is the priority here? Like, what am I really after in this situation? Okay, I'm a little sad that that got really dark, but you know what? Sometimes what you can do is something got too dark, you can actually make everything else around it dark, and then it's sort of like more okay that it got dark. So sometimes that can bail you out, but other times not. It really depends. But yeah, I mean, maybe I'll do one that's long, that does have that reductive technique, because I do really like that technique a lot. It's sort of like chiseling at a piece of marble. There's something about it that I think is really fun. And I have not done that for a while. That's one of my favorite drawing techniques. So maybe we'll do that. There's just too much to do, guys. Like, I have so many ideas in my head. I can do this, I want to do that and do that. But it's like, I'm only one person and we don't have a staff that's substantial enough in terms of the admin side, which is why I need you guys to donate to the raffle, because I have so much I want to do. Like, we have all these tutorials. I'm not kidding. I've been just sitting there because I don't have time to edit them, and I don't have money to hire editors. So if you guys support us, we'll be able to do more for you. That's what I want. This is like the minimum. Like, if we get that funding, you guys support us, we'll do more for you. It's only going to be more. But we need administrative staff. We really do, because I'm going to die. It's just so many emails, so many spreadsheets, and I need to spend my time doing other things like planning content and figuring out what we want to do for streams and that type of thing. So help us out there. Okay, does everybody see how I'm just everywhere right now? I'm just sort of trying to, what's the word? I'm trying to get things to group, because I feel like it was so mushy before, and I just want the form to stick out more. I'm trying to put the structure and the architecture back in, because I feel like I lost it temporarily, and now I got to put it back. So it's okay. If you lose something, put it back. And it's okay to think about it that way. Things do not always have to improve. Okay, now what I'm doing, I'm just squinting. I'm just trying to see where I'm sort of missing things. And I think it's in here. I think I'm not, this needs to get even darker. Jeez, I really gotta lay this down. I feel like I lost an opportunity up here because I lost this highlight that's really broad. And now I'm totally paying for it, but that's okay. That's fine. I guess I also just really like the crayon technique because it reminds me a lot of lithography, which is a printmaking technique where actually you end up drawing on a limestone, which is cool. So you're drawing on this stone, and it makes beautiful textures, but it's a pain in the butt to do lithography because it's a lot of labor. You have to like grind a stone, you have to process it, you got to use acid, and it's really not something you can do at home. You really need a facility, you need a litho press. It's very involved, but it can be really, really cool. And I love that part of printmaking. It's just, I don't have a litho studio right now, so this is sort of a way to do it. And actually with a litho, if you're making a litho, this is how you do it. You use like a waxy crayon. Like you can't erase on a litho stone. I mean, you could use this one thing called snake slip where you can sort of get rid of it, but it's not the same thing as like an eraser that like really truly gets rid of something. So I guess that's another reason I like this technique a lot, is that it does remind me of that. Okay, and what I'm going to do too, you guys, I'm going to share this on Instagram probably tomorrow, because I am noticing it looks really different on the screen than it does in person. And somebody said that on Instagram they really couldn't see, that on YouTube they couldn't really see the texture of the charcoal paper that well, and so maybe that'll be easier for you guys when I put it on Instagram. You'll be able to see the drawing more the way it's supposed to be. Not liking this leg. Not good. Okay, this has to get bulked up. See, but I'm now falling into my own trap of making everything dark, and then I'm going to end up with nothing. But this is a pretty dark photo. That said, I feel a little bit more justified, maybe, indulging myself, even though I know I shouldn't, even though I know that I should be doing other things, focusing on things that maybe I'm not so great on, like the scapula. We got 8 minutes, you guys. Okay, let's really settle down. Let's really work on what's happening up here. Really articulate. So I'm going to really slow down, and I'm going to really get specific and put in things like the shapes that are in the ear. This is the type of thing I would never bother with this stuff in a shorter pose. No way. I would definitely be holding out. But I suppose this is the part of the process that maybe a lot of you guys were asking about, which is like, okay, well, what do you do once you get past a certain point? And for me, it's going back in and adding more specifics, more nuances, like the difference between this being dark and this being lighter, and then this gradient being a little bit softer than it was. It was a little bit too abrupt. And so sometimes it's blending, like literally just that. Although you got to be careful with blending. Blending can really screw you over. And sometimes you blend and blend so much that you lose all of the structure of the figure, and that's not good either. So you have to be careful with the blending. Blending is like, it's your secret weapon. You only use it when you have to, and when you know it's going to actually get you results. And he's got these like tensor parts, like up here on the shoulder. This is a really tense part of the muscle. I'm going to see if I can round it. Yeah, I guess the reason I'm taking this more tonal approach, I think it's just because the photo is like that. Like the photo itself feels more like a painting to me than a drawing, because it's not super detailed, and it is very much about these transitions of light and shadow. So we're going to really rock this. I'm going to try to get this, I mean, I'm not going to get it as bright as it ever was, but I can at least darken some of the passages around it, so by comparison it feels lighter. Everything's by comparison, you guys. Drawing is about relationships. Drawing is not about getting it right. It's not about copying. It's about relationships. What is the relationship between this piece of the form to the next piece of the form? That's what you're looking at. Okay, and here, this division, the shoulder and the arm, they really melt into each other. The transition's very soft. So maybe that's what it is that I'm trying to articulate, is that you guys should be thinking about transitions, and you can't just draw one thing at a time. That's when you get in trouble. You have to think about, okay, how does this form relate to the next? So this one, there's these weird, like, I gotta make this highlight a little smaller. I think it's too big. And then maybe this one a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this is really turning into a full-fledged crayon drawing because I'm actually spending time on it. But, I'm still not happy. It's still, oh no, only 5 minutes left. Okay, let's get in. Okay, I think you guys, okay, it's a 50-minute drawing. I'm not going to finish it. I would definitely spend more time on it beyond this. But you sort of do all the stuff you've been holding off on. So for me, that's putting in really dark stuff. So you can see right now, I'm going to go to town on this arm. I'm going to make it really dark. That is something I don't do early on because you can't do that so soon. But I'm like, hey, I got 5 minutes. This is it. We're just going to nail it in there. So these are all things that I really have to prevent myself from doing too soon. But now that I only have a few minutes left, I sort of feel like it's more okay. And like here, I really want this arm and the elbow. Let's really nail that in. Oh my God, I have like no pencil. You guys see this? There's like no crayon. It's so small. Okay, I guess it's just in time. I have 4 minutes. All right. And I do want to harshen a couple things. So like this hand at the bottom, pretty mushy. And I do want to just like separate the fingers. I mean, it doesn't look amazing, but it looks better than the blob that I had before. And at the very least, to just be able to say, okay, that's one finger and that's another. And that just feels a little bit less crappy. Okay, I drew this hand. This is way too close to the body, obviously, but whatever. Does not matter, in my opinion. Okay, and I think I really need to bulk this up. I mean, I should do like a color drawing at some point because I do have that crayon technique. Or, I should do one with chalk pastel because a lot of you guys are asking me about chalk pastel. And honestly, if we do a studio tutorial, the full out tutorial, it's going to be forever. I have too many other tutorials that are already in the can that I've been sitting on for way too long. Like I shot these 3 tutorials with Son Kang in October. I've only released one of them. And I feel really bad because they're really good tutorials. I just don't have time, don't have the staff, need all these things to get them out there. And I really want to share it with you because Song is amazing. She does really incredible things with pen. If you guys have not seen, she did a scratchboard tutorial with us that I thought was really brilliant. So she's a good person to look at. But she's the opposite of me. I mean, like, I love this tone stuff. This is just so yummy. It's like so substantial. Okay, I'm sort of letting this arm melt into the background, but I sort of think that that's okay. I want to do, maybe I won't do so much in the head. I think I do want, okay, this is a real area of tension up here. Okay, let's do that. Let's really give his deltoid a run for the money. Give it something really substantial. Get very dark there. And then here, oh, I only have 2 minutes. Okay, hang on. Let's just, a little hint of the extensor muscles, which are these muscles down here. I just want to make that a little crisper, I suppose. Yeah, maybe that has a little bit more tension. It's still not great. I mean, I think I would need to bulk this. What I really need is a new crayon. Guys, this is not happening. This crayon is dead. Bulk up some of this. I mean, I don't know that I hit the plateau. I feel like if I worked another 10 minutes, I would hit the plateau. Like, I still see a lot of things that, in my opinion, are really glaringly problematic. So I don't think I've hit the plateau yet. But if anything, I've shown you guys some options for different ways to develop the piece. And again, it depends on what you want to do, what your goals are. You may not want to do a drawing like this. And that's fine, you guys. I'm not here to make mini Claras. That's not interesting to me. I think I want to give you tools and I want to empower you to make what you want to make. And from what I've seen, a lot of YouTube channels really teach like one thing, which is good. I mean, that's a nice focus. But I really want you guys thinking. I don't want you just copying one particular technique. And okay. 41 seconds. Okay, let's really give this scapula some love. really build that up. Because, oh my God, that form is gorgeous. Beautiful form. Must be awesome to photograph people like this. Like, really incredible figures. All right, I think I'm almost there. Good, because there's no crayon left. I need to get a bigger crayon for the next time I do a longer drawing. I had no idea I was going to eat through this whole crayon. Oh, I lost the arm. It's gone. Okay, just a little bit. Let's just really dig in here and make this dark. All right, that is it, you guys. All right, let's see what you guys are up to. There is the finished drawing. I will post a drawing of it on our Instagram later on, but let me come up here and see what you guys are talking about. Okay. Let's see. What are your observations? Because I really have not done a drawing this long before. Let's see. I'm going to scroll back up a little bit. Rin is giving me credit for trying to draw and talk at the same time. It's hard to do it on the stream because I do it for a long time. In class, my demos are not really longer than about 10 minutes. And so I don't have to do it for a sustained period of time. It's exhausting, but I don't mind. I mean, I think it's more fun that way. Let's see. Danya Marie says, I cannot see the texture on YouTube, but I see it on Instagram. Limited to mobile device. Yes. So I would say, you guys, if you want a more accurate depiction of the drawing, look at it on Instagram because you are missing a lot of the subtleties. Louise says, I find the head to be really beautiful in the drawing. Oh, I just love the gesture. That, like, him looking downwards is so beautiful. Oh, I want to read the stories. Hang on a second. I want to see what you guys are saying this guy was doing. Oh, you guys are having a manga discussion back here. Okay. Let me keep going down. All right. Thank you for the super chat, 10,000 crows. Really appreciate it. You are saying you can really see all the years of experience. Johnny says the drawing looks really nice. He looks calm and tense. And yes, okay, chalk pastel video at some point. Can definitely do that for you guys. And Alexander says, is there still time to enter the fall raffle, spring raffle? How many people are in for the $150 paintings right now? I'm not going to tell you that, but you got some competition. Some competition. Not a lot. It's not like we got 5,000 entries or anything like that. But you guys think about it because we need the help. And I think that if you guys do end up with, for example, Alex's gouache painting, you're going to be pretty happy because let me tell you, this painting is worth way more than $150. So yes, the raffle ends tomorrow night, which is Saturday at 11:59 p.m. So go down to the video description below. You will find the raffle link. Mari is saying, I fret over smudging. On yours, it looks purposeful, like it is thought out in the background. I feel like I don't get anything done because I want to clean it all the time. Is that just me? I mean, I have to see the drawing, Mari, to really give you something more accurate. But I do think that people do tend to get fussier when they smudge. Because it's like once you start smudging, it's hard to stop. I find it easier to not smudge at all. Maybe I'll smudge a little bit towards the end, but it's always very minimal. Because I guess when I know I have to trust the mark to just be as it is, I feel like I confront it more. Whereas if I go in and I start smudging everything, I start to get pickier and I start going, oh, what about this? What about that? And so sometimes it's easier to just not smudge. I mean, try it. If you've ever not done a drawing where you just did not let yourself smudge, try it. It's going to be uncomfortable because you're not going to like any of the marks if you're used to smudging. But I think it would be a really good experience for you to try. Justin is saying, is there a schedule for this? I'd love to be here from the beginning of next season. Well, I will tell you for June, we are trying to do all of our streams so that on weekdays, it's at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And weekends, we're doing 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because people in Europe were bummed that they would have to stay up until 4 a.m. to watch us, which is not cool. So we tried to do that. But if you go to artprof.org, and you click on live streams and lectures, the schedule is there. And also you can sign up for our email list. We do have an email list on that page. So if you guys want to get a monthly email notification just to tell you, hey, the schedule has been updated, here are some of the upcoming topics, that's definitely a good way to do that. Shabnan is saying, how can I work more on the midtones? You know what I would do, Shabnan? I would wait a really long time before you let yourself put down anything dark. Because I think what oftentimes happens is people put in the dark too fast, and then everything's dark, and by comparison, nothing feels like it's a mid-gray. Like it becomes almost hyperbole in your drawing. And so if you just like really hold off on putting in the darks, that might get you to appreciate the gray tones a little bit more, because I know I do the same thing. I always do it in watercolor. I'm the worst. When it comes to watercolor, I put in those blacks way too soon. I do it with chalk pastel. This is just a problem that I have in general. But if you can stay lighter longer and delay adding in the darks, that might help you try to make your midtones a little bit more diverse. Let's see. Sorry, I can't read your name. It's in Japanese. You're saying, my story for him is that he's left society. He's living in the jungle like Tarzan and is certain about his choice, trying to not look back. Oh, I love that. See, guys, I just love that, okay? That makes it so much more personal. Even if you're just engaging with this photo for a few minutes, it really, I think, changes the way that you engage with the subject matter. Let's see. Yeah, lefties, it's hard. I know for sure it's not an easy thing to do. All right, guys, I would really encourage you to join us in Discord because there are some really great conversations going on in there. You can post your work and get it critiqued, which is super fun. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to make sure you don't miss out on anything. And thank you so much to our top Patreon supporters who make everything possible. Now is the time to join, guys, okay? You want to be a top Patreon supporter, you're going to milk it right now. And you know something else? One of our tiers on Patreon, it's called De Medici. Tell me in the chat if you know what that dorky art history reference is. What does De Medici mean? Because I was just so proud of that silly little art history thing that I snuck in for top Patreon supporters. So let me know if you guys know what De Medici means. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody, please stay safe. I will see you next time.